Ooh, there we go, everybody. It's time for the election special. This is exciting. Are we excited? I'm excited. You're excited. We're excited. The elections tonight shouldn't be happening. It's happening anyway. We've assembled a crack team of idiots for you, so you don't have to watch those idiots. They're getting paid. We're not, so this will be way more fun. And because no one's getting paid, everybody's drinking. Let's assemble the team, ladies and gentlemen, for the election night super show. Please welcome to my right, Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM. That is Dean, apparently. It's actually Chris Rook. He's producing the show. He's not an anti-vaxxer, but he is not vaccinated. That is Ryan Lindley, Sheeple Shepherd Podcast. Radio legend, Hall of Famer. Please welcome from Calgary, representing the Calgary vote and the rich radio retiree vote, Jerry Forbes, ladies and gentlemen, and James DeFiore, who just showed us around his basement where he's hanging approximately 3,000 kilograms of marijuana, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent.
Good to see
Four
everybody
plants.
tonight.
Four plants, honest. 4 plants.
Just 4 plants. All he's got is 4 plants. Guys, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it. Jerry Forbes joins us from Calgary, and we're starting out west because by the time we announce who the prime minister is, you guys will still be voting, which is always
it's always over for us. As soon as it goes through Quebec and hits Ontario, I load up the truck, I load the Jeep up, and I go to the Hutterite colony and I pray.
Dude, you can
I
get
got everything you need
700.
there.
You can get
Who do
700
you pray
pounds of
to?
snap peas for like $4 at the Hutterite
I
colony,
get
dude.
deerskin
It's
gloves,
incredible.
potatoes. I can live there and pay no taxes. It'll be fantastic.
So tell us, let's start out west. Abby Simpson's going to join us a little later on the Hosecast, ladies and gents. But Edmonton, Alberta, Lachlan, you were in Edmonton today. I know you voted. Love the hat, by the way. Jerry, you're in Calgary. You voted. Let's start with you in Calgary, Jerry, on this election night super show. UCP's in big trouble. Apparently, people are calling for Jason Kenney's head on a pike. I don't know how the Conservatives are going to fare there. It's a fucking mess in Calgary. Jerry Forbes, what's going on? What's happening?
Well, Bimbo the birthday clown, as we call him, has just totally fucked things up. He did a complete 180 on the vaccine passport thing, and has had to answer for that. Of course, everybody got sick after Stampede. The Alberta Open for Summer campaign got killed, and the
Best
one
summer
thing
ever.
there were T-shirts, there were hats. They're worth $1 million now. People would just love to have one of those hats, but he just completely screwed everything up. We went from like an idiot before under Rachel Notley, who just gave all the money to the unions, raised the minimum wage so restaurants couldn't afford it, and then we got Bimbo the birthday clown coming in, making his promises, setting up his war room, and he completely totaled the province. So he's as good as gone. There'll be a leadership review, I'm sure. Either that or somebody will push him in front of a turnip truck. Just a complete moron. But I don't think people here are equating the UCP with the Conservatives provincially compared to federally. I think when Aaron O'Toole said, "Please do nothing to support me," that was a pretty good clue that he didn't need any of Jason Kenney's help whatsoever. Yeah, he never mentioned his name once. All he would say was the premier who's in Alberta. Never once wanted to put Conservative in front of that man's name.
Yeah, must have made him feel real good too. Jerry Forbes is in Calgary. Lachlan Cross is in Edmonton. Alberta again in turmoil. Did this like the Kenney thing, Locke? To what Jerry said, is the Kenney thing? You don't think it's going to affect anything nationally? You think that because I was watching the news today. I know they call it the news. I'm saying news. I was watching the news today, and they're like, there's a couple seats that might go liberal. Like people are pissed off at this cat.
I don't think no. The Liberals aren't gonna. They're not gonna get. If they get 2 seats in Alberta, I'd be shocked. They might get 1 in Calgary. They might get 1 in Alberta. I don't think. I think Jerry's right. I'm not sure. People. Oh, you guys all fucking ignore us anyway. Do you even know where we are? Like, they're not. No one equates the West or the UCP with the conservative movement.
Can I mention something too? There is a guy here in Calgary. There's a guy here in Calgary by the name of George Shahal, and George was a counselor. We had a terrible tornado rip through here last year. And he was the guy that got everybody in the Northeast got their insurance claims done. He was there for the people. He's up against another person that's the incumbent there. They're both East Indian. And that pretty much the whole Skyview Ranch up there is East Indian. So almost every candidate that's running are people of color. And I think George may have a big shot at winning that one. I think that'll come down to the fine strokes there. So they do have a chance there. They also have a chance in Calgary Centre. Once again, two very popular people in town that, and these during the last elections, these have swung back and forth, blue to red, red to blue, and then it's blue now and may turn red again. So there is a possibility of two in Calgary.
That's the one,
which is weird, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's the one
Go
I
ahead.
saw. Jerry. In Calgary Centre was Sabrina Grover's over.
That's right.
5 points over Greg. Is it McLean?
Greg McLean.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I found about that was from 1968 to 2015, that was like a blue streak all the way through, and then in 2015 it got upset, and then in 2019 the blue took it back, and now it looks like she's got 5 points on top of him. So
yeah, that'll be one to watch. I think this is probably where the two seats come from. One will be Skyview, and I think one will be Calgary Centre.
And I think there's a chance that a Liberal might squeak in here, but people, I don't think you guys are aware of the hatred for Trudeau in this neck of the woods.
We've been listening to Albertans say true dope and turdo for like 6 years. So we're aware.
Yeah. We know how much you fucking hate him. Like we absolutely know how much you hate the guy.
Read that? That's how they think.
Traitorous, ruinous, unreasonable, delusional, egotistical, arrogant, unethical. I'd take 2 of those out, but I'd leave the rest in. He's absolutely unethical. He's just like, and that's the thing, right? Like here, you're sitting. This is the crazy part to me. Like Alberta should be up for grabs, right? It really should. And I'm from Alberta. Lived in Calgary. Went to University of Calgary. Listened to Jerry growing up on the radio on CJ92. I'm well aware of how conservative. I'm well aware of the Bible Belt. I went to school in Three Hills, Prairie High School, private Christian boarding school. Like I get the Bible Belt. I know what Alberta is all about. I totally get it. But and this is the fucked up part. This is like watching what Jason Kenney did to that province, knowing he is truly conservative. You can call the party whatever you want, and still that province is like, no, we're still conservative, even though these conservatives are bad conservatives, we're still conservatives, and we're always going to be conservative. It's that's the stuff that blows my mind, Jer. That's the weird stuff.
But you know what? Here's the stuff that'll stick in people's minds, because even though people are not stupid, 7 out of 10 people are stupid, I'll give you that. But the other 3, and I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm trying to figure out which ones here in this room. Yeah,
but 7 out of 10 are stupid. That's like 84%.
Yeah. We got 3 people coming in a little bit later to cover off the other half of that.
But think about this. They do a Canada Day celebration. It's coming from Ottawa. The friggin' snowbirds are flying over. The marching bands are going by. The dumb fuck prime minister goes through every province, every territory, but forgets Alberta. So that's the kind of stuff that sticks in people's craw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and here's the thing: is that we don't hate Alberta at all. Like I'm an Albertan.
No, he's stupid. He hates Alberta, and so did his dad.
Yeah.
So he's.
Well,
I don't know if his dad stepped on his cracker box or what the deal is, but he's got a hate on for Alberta, and Alberta hates him.
And after all the love you guys show non-conservatives, that's crazy.
No, that's all the money we send. All the money we send to Quebec, you think there'd be something coming back? I get a pipeline and use it for maple syrup, for Christ's sake. Yeah. We could sell that shit.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
That's for sure.
But here's the thing:
we don't want to fuck with his deal with the Saudi Arabia. Like we don't, that would just screw things up. I mean,
you mean the stuff that we don't pay tax on? We don't pay carbon tax on.
We're just sucking oil out of the Middle East. Yeah. That's all. Don't worry about one of the largest oil producing deposits in the world here in Canada, and fuck, let's not produce it either.
Well, I was waiting for him to come up with a plan like he had for carbon, where we could actually pay to get out of COVID too. Just have an extra tax, and it'd be gone in a week.
Yeah. Here's a question. I got a question for you, and it's the Alberta stuff, and you tied into COVID. But like, has COVID for now? It probably is, right, because of the lockdown and all the bullshit. But is COVID part of your decision making when it comes to who you're going to vote for? Anybody on this panel? Locke, is it for you?
No, I do what everybody else does in the country. I just vote to get the guy out.
You're right.
And then
yes.
and then you hold your nose and hope that they don't pass conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean,
I guess so.
That's what we do. That's the Canadian way. We just get rid of the guy that's in there. We don't actually put anybody in there we fucking like.
You remember they say that politicians are like diapers. They should be changed regularly because they're full of shit.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into the conversion therapy, but that bill was a setup. It was a setup. You know,
totally it was.
Totally was.
You don't want to get therapy for gay people. That's ridiculous. But the other side of that bill, which every time I talk about it, people yell at me, was like, I don't know how anyone could sign it. But
yeah, it's weird. Because like that was kind of what they did, right? They took some of those issues, they made them what they call wedge issues. Like that was the first time I'd heard that. It was like, ooh, this is a wedge issue. I'm like, what the fuck's a wedge issue? Oh, it's when you put something out there in the ethosphere and the other guy falls for it, and then you create a wedge between themselves and their base, right? So that's exactly what that stuff was. But it wasn't like
take away from the fact, Dean, that there is a decided right-wing slant to the Conservative Party as a whole, that they're missing the middle, and they do every time. And I think what Archie Bunker has done this time around, and because I've heard the right-wing conservatives in this side of the country getting annoyed with the fact that he's moved to the middle, right? They're like, he sounds more like a liberal this time around. Like that's what I'm getting.
He's the first one. He's the first conservative leader to like basically disown publicly the fringe of the conservative right. Like no one else has ever. They play footsie and they double speak like Scheer did and everything, but they've never actually done what O'Toole has done, which is literally say, "Fuck off. You're on your own. We don't." We're not talking to you anymore. And I think that when they started to do that, maybe 8-9 days ago, 10 days ago, like hardcore, I think they regretted it immediately because the purple wave or whatever you want to call it was around that time as well. So it backfired, I think, on Scheer.
You know what I think might happen out here too that nobody has talked about, and it's pretty scary if you're a conservative, is the time that Maxime Bernier spent out here doing rallies and stuff. There may be that guy who came in from the farm that goes, he's right, he's French, I don't like that, but he's right. And there may be some votes going that way.
Yeah, well, that'll be the interesting thing about this election, right? And I think the NDP is gonna see a big bump, and they're gonna chew away on that liberal vote because people are done with JT. And I think that PPC vote, although I'm not positive. I think there's a case to be made, and Jerry might be on side with this as well, having lived out here as long as he has as well. I think there's a case to be made that the PPC voters, I don't think they fucking voted for anybody. I think they're so fringe that they're not stealing conservative votes.
Let's hope so.
I think the NDP are chewing away way more effectively at that liberal side of the agenda than the PPC is chewing away on the conservative side. I mean, I could be fucking wrong, but the wing nuts I see at these PPC rallies, it's salt of the earth, real down home fucking lunatics.
Yeah, lunatics.
I don't think those people ever made it to the polls.
But those are just the ones that are going to the rallies. That's like one type of person, period, right?
Yeah, you really got to have nothing to do, to go to one of those rallies.
Yeah. Yeah,
kids not in hockey. There's no soccer game. Let's go to the rally.
But what you're looking at is the fringe of the fringe. That's at the rallies. The quiet PPC voters, people like Lachlan that don't have a podcast and can't talk about it.
I don't fucking vote PPC.
No, listen to me for a second. I don't mean that you're a fringe of the fringe. I mean, there are people out there, there are moderate conservatives, there are liberals, and I told you, I know a few, that are voting PPC, and they are left-wing on every single issue you can imagine, except for forced vaccinations and mandated vaccinations and passports and free speech. Those are decidedly like the issues that they are looking at this election. And I'm saying, like, I think that if you look at the PPC's entire vote block, I think like 25% of it is left of center. And that's a lot for them.
How about this, guys? Do you think there's going to be some blowback on having an election during a pandemic when you started off by going, hey, by the way, nobody wants an election during a pandemic, and then calling it a couple of weeks after saying that?
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why we're sitting where we are right now, Jerry. I mean, they're still calling a fucking race that might actually be decided by seats that come through in BC. I mean, how are you guys going to handle that back east? Normally,
you guys might matter. By the way, just so you know, you guys may matter this year.
Not just BC, not Alberta. We're still screwed.
Yeah, I know.
It only matters because of timing, though. Well, they were the last ones to vote, but you're still going to see the GTA determine this election in Quebec. Those are the two areas.
Big 905.
Lindley, what were you going to say? You're going to say something. I cut you off.
I heard a stat today that before they made the decision to actually call the election, it was 54% of Canadians said they didn't want to have the election during a pandemic, and then when he did drop the writ, 66% of Canadians disagreed with the decision, which put a real bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And like you say, those left of center people, that really pushed them back towards that center, I think. And it should.
You know what? I mean, and I'll tell you this. I don't know how you guys feel, but I haven't forgotten about it. Like that's I think there were a lot of people in this election that were like, fuck, when he called the election, because it was like the analogy that I used in that one show. We're busy keeping the boat off the rocks. Like that's all we're doing in this fucking pandemic. All of us, we're trying to figure out how do we eat, how do we live, where do we go, what do we do, all that stuff. And we're wearing masks, and are we vaccinated, and we're fucking wading through protests and all this stuff. And the guy's like, election time, right? And that was the piss off for me to start this whole thing. It wasn't like I got past it, but it's always been there. Like the whole fucking, and is he a better politician? Is he a better individual than Aaron O'Toole? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Technically, you would say he probably is, according to how we live our fucking lives today. But listen, the fucking fact of the matter is that we're sick, right? And the dude was like, a year ago, we're never going to call an election during a pandemic. And the second he saw a window to try and get some more power so he could jam through a bunch of woke shit that nobody cares about just so he could secure his legacy, he did it. He did it. He fucked us. Like he's and by fucking us, he also fucked some people who were on the fence originally with him, who voted for him because there was no alternative, right? And I think that's why, because technically speaking, I don't know if there is an alternative to him other than Jagmeet, who I did vote for, and I've never voted NDP in my life, but I know we're going to have another election in 8 to 12 months. So I just put my vote where I thought it would fucking be safe until then, until I could fucking wield an actual vote.
They cost $616 million. Let's have 3 or 4 of them.
Well, listen, if the decision to have an election during the pandemic is like the first bookend to this election, the last bookend, and we're in for it, is going to be the endless chatter among people on the right about the mail-in ballot conspiracy theory. And that's going to destroy... this is going to be like the we're Americanized now, our elections, because the mail-in ballot system now is like, I think, 1.1 million votes, not going to be counted until Tuesday night or something. So if that is a pile of liberals, and it probably should be, because liberals and lefties are a little bit more concerned about social distancing at the polls, so they would probably want to mail in their ballots. But I think Bernier and his party were strongly encouraging, for the first time ever, a right of center party was encouraging people to do it as well. So, but they got that is going to be hilarious when it comes. It's going to be very QAnon-ish. Everyone's going to be talking about how Trudeau knows a guy who knew a guy whose cousin fucked a girl who had a little brother who somehow worked at the...
No, I'll kick it off for you. The Clintons visited Justin Trudeau 2 days before he called the election. So they probably went... Here's how you do it. Here's how we did it down there.
Yeah. Or he'll be dead. Or he'll be dead.
Or be shot dead. Yeah.
Suicide by 2 gunshots to the back of the head.
In a car driving.
We're getting a lot of tweets from people that want to know how many drinks we're in, or are we smoking anything. So we got to do a tally. Locke, how many Bud Lights have you had? What do you got there?
Well, I would lie to you guys, but I can't because you know me. I may have had a couple before we started the podcast. So I believe that this is my 3rd, and I was just about to open up another one. And
just Bud Light tonight? You're just staying on Bud Light? That's your thing? You're just going to drink beer tonight? That's
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
Lindley, what do you got? Lindley.
See, that's I had somebody ask me what the
What's in the
tally was
fucking cup
for the pre-drinks. That's 40 Creek, and it's
What's in the sippy cup, Ryan?
It's my sippy cup. It's my yellow sippy cup.
It's very Jamesy. Yeah, it's very Jamesy.
I love the straw. The straw makes.
I do too. The bendy straw. Yeah. That's nice. Chris Rookie, what do you got? First of all, he got a negative test today, which is good. He's going to his own wedding tomorrow, which is even better. There's his negative test.
Go.
Congratulations. Now, what do you show us what you're drinking this evening, Chris? What do you got?
Celebrating with a little Grey Goose.
Very good. Yep.
Pretty much it started up here and now it's here.
Let's make it to the wedding tomorrow, Chris.
It's on Wednesday. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
It's on Wednesday.
I'm planning.
It's on Wednesday, and he got it. He got an 8 ball. He'll be fine, Jerry.
Someone send a stripper to Chris's house right now. Like right now.
Who gets married on a fucking Wednesday? What is that?
Everyone's got the name wrong.
The guy who drinks straight out of a Grey Goose bottle.
There's a early bird special in the cafeteria.
Goddamn James Bond.
Look at him go. Right? This is great.
It's been a long 18 months.
He didn't want to do that.
Oh,
He
look
did
at
not
that.
want to do that.
Hey, by the way, we should bring Jimmy from the locker room on.
We're going to.
He's in.
We're gonna do it in 1 second. I got to check in with James. He's not drinking. How many spliffs and how much? Okay, there you go. You got your cannabis. You're grinding it up.
6 grams of mushrooms in here.
Okay.
And then this is the weed that I'm going to smoke, and I'm rolling it on my kids book called Telling Time because I know what fucking time it is.
What I love about James is I love how proud he is of his sobriety.
Right? You guys
Dude, it's called California Sober. California Sober.
All the people in the program are always like, "So when did you get your coin?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." You know, like for them, it's
I'm an alcoholic. I just don't go to the meetings.
For them, alcohol and weed are like the same thing. Like you can't, everything that alters you got to be in the program for and give your love to God, higher power.
No, you don't.
We'll figure out a way to tax that.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get you. Someone wants to see the butt again. If you could hold it up in front of the camera, James. Thank you very much.
I have one super in my head. But yeah,
I know. There's one bud. That's a little baby guy. Look at the crystal on that.
Too.
You can put lights and a star on that.
Yeah.
That's a Christmas tree.
Why are you writing shit? You should be growing.
Yeah, you should be a professional grower, dude. That is bullshit.
I think the seeds did all the work, but
Killaloo.
I'm still a rookie at it. But like I know a guy in the area that's like an expert on this shit, and I'm not. I was like, for a week, I was like, fuck. I think I gave them too much flowering fertilizer, and now they're fucking hermaphrodites. And so he comes over and he's like, he texts me and he's like, dude, where did you get these seeds? And I'm like, such and such, and he goes, I've never seen fucking like I have purple buds that are like literally the size of my head with like crystals on it to the point where you could just put your finger on the bud that's the size of my head and pick it up.
Pick it up.
Like
No way. Yeah. That's it. James, sorry, we got to let Jerry go. Jerry Forbes, thank you very much for stepping in with us. Jerry Forbes, the Jerry and Jake program, which you can get anywhere you get your fine podcasts, including Dean Blundell. It is awesome. I'll see you tomorrow, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Man, woman would ever win.
Oh, look at that.
Oh. Jimmy!
Ladies and gentlemen.
I am here.
The fucking brains of our program right there. Right
Hey,
there.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm drinking beer.
Yeah.
Jimmy's Easy IPA.
How is it?
Oh, I love it.
Cheap.
Third person beer. Awesome.
Is it like Fax 10?
Yeah.
How is it? It was at the right height and the price.
And the name.
He
That
didn't
was
have to
Chris
ask
bonus.
somebody to grab it for him.
Why do you let Lachlan talk to you like that, Jimmy?
That's actually the truth, though. I don't. If I
know how
go,
he
if I
buys
go to,
beer.
That's
if
why,
I go to a
James.
beer store and I can't reach it, I buy a different brand.
Makes sense, man.
That's how you
Yeah.
see that's
Serious?
variety. That's
All right.
variety.
He's 4 feet tall.
If I can't reach it, I buy a different brand.
Like if I'm going to your beer store,
Yeah.
And I go there 4 times a week, and you put the beer I drink on a shelf I can't reach it, I'll buy a different beer or go to a different beer store.
Imagine they did have a kid. Imagine they did have a kids aisle in the liquor store though. That would be kind of neat. Like,
Yeah. I don't know if you'd be allowed there.
Yeah.
no.
Shots fired.
True.
Shots fired. Careful though, Jimmy. Jimmy, careful because James.
Whistle. I knew I should have brought my fucking dad joke whistle.
That's Jimmy. That's James. James.
Yes,
Jimmy,
I defended him.
Jimmy?
My opener was defending you, by the way.
I know.
Oh, I know.
Jimmy.
Yes.
James P. White. Jimmy. You are only about 2 inches shorter than James, so that'll be a fight.
Yeah.
But my hair's better.
You're 5'4.5". That's not bad.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, Jimmy?
Every time we talk about Jimmy's weight or height on the show, Grant always takes 2 inches off, drives him crazy.
And
3'10"
that's 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so officially, Jimmy, how tall are you?
4 foot even.
Okay, now officially, don't lie. No reason to lie to us. Just a bunch of guys hanging out.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a female lawyer waiting for us in the green room.
Don't bring her in.
But it's just a guy, just a couple guys up to no good, starting a little trouble in the neighborhood. And then my mom got scared. No. So how much do you weigh?
Last time I weighed myself 140.
40. Okay.
So he's
What's your
25
fighting
pounds
weight?
more than my wife.
That fucking
Yes.
preamble, Dean. I swear to God, you were going to ask him how big his
He's
hog
still
was.
10 pounds lighter than your testicles, though, Lachlan.
That's a lot of preamble to get to his weight.
Now, Jimmy.
Yeah.
What do you think of the election? Well, can I ask you a quick question? Well, I want you to think about it, ruminate, because we're going to get to Karima.
Okay.
But what was in this election for the little person? Who spoke to you? Was it a liberal? Was it a conservative? Was it another little person?
Was it the
might have been
sign
a Green
language
Party
person?
guy? Yeah. Was it the sign language guy?
I don't speak for the little person. I speak for the Southern Albertan.
Woo!
I grew up in Southern Alberta. I've always have been, and little people,
Clip.
I
That's a clip.
really don't get them. But
Yeah.
I don't get them.
I don't understand them. But
Okay. So for the Southern Albertan, that's what I want you to focus on. I'm going to come back in a few minutes. I'd like you to continue drinking. We're going to check in with you throughout the evening, see how your words get slurred. Hopefully by the next time you're on, it's a little more difficult to speak, and we can go from there.
Rest in peace, Preston Manning. I know Jimmy is pining for
Yeah.
for
Sad.
Preston's
He
vote.
died.
he's
I know
not
he's
dead.
He is
He's
dead.
not dead.
God rest his soul.
Preston
If
Manning died.
we had fucking Preston Manning around today,
Mhm.
I think the entire face of the
Be a
electoral
different
system
story.
would be, it would be different.
It's been weekend
Be a
at
totally different
Preston's
story.
for like a year and a half.
Yeah. Dead. Sorry, dude.
That's okay.
Talk to you in a bit. You want to just hang out in the green room for a sec? He's mad at us now. Look at
Yeah,
He hates the Preston Manning bit.
His
at his
Cheap
face.
Trick interview was
Look at his
amazing.
face. Look at his face. He's so pissed because we made fun of a dead guy. Look at that.
He's not dead.
Fuck you, Jimmy. You called me a pedophile, you cunt.
All right. Shrooms James is back. Nice to see you, James. Now it's time to welcome in our next guest. Please welcome to the program one of my favorite human beings in the world. One of I call her the urban documentarian. Please welcome Kareem Assad, ladies and gentlemen. Kareem Assad, the urban documentarian. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, the best. The best. We were just talking to this guy, Jimmy. Did you see him on the program,
I
Jimmy?
watched that whole segment with interest.
Sorry.
Were you wondering how big his hog was too?
I've seen his dick a couple of times. It's actually impressive for like his size. So what? But I think what it is I think he just has like a normal sized dick, right? So he has. It's not like a tripod. He's
Welcome.
not swinging a hammer down the. Right. I just think he's a small guy with a normal sized penis. Right,
Ugh.
the 6-7 inch number, and I think that that looks pretty good in his hands. His hands.
When you're 5, when you're 4 feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when somebody who makes clay models didn't know how to scale properly.
We had a. That's a good point, Ryan. We had a GoPro head for what
I
was?
told
I don't
people
even
to watch this. Like, what is?
Guys, relax with the penis talk. She told people to watch this. This is an election night special. Ladies and gentlemen, covering the anti-vax vote, Karima Saad. Let's do this again one more time. Yeah, we'll get back to it later when she's gone. Karima Saad, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see
Don't
you.
let me forget to tell you about the GoPro thing on his head. And
Thank you.
to the
I
back.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Good to see you. How are you, Karima? Are you taking in the election this evening? Where are you watching it from today?
From here. This is where the action is happening, obviously. But no, I don't care.
No. There's the thing. Do you care who wins this election? Like, do you have a vested interest? Because, like, when we talk about politics, we don't ever talk about who we like. We just usually carve, like, everybody, right? So, like, what do you make of the pandemic election? Take me through Karima's pandemic election summary, and then let's talk about the crazies. Go ahead. Karima Saad, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I think the sort of the short period of campaigning and then the ways that all the parties seem to go about it really just lowered the discourse right into the ground. So there's so many important issues at stake that I'm not sure any party has really articulated what they plan to do about anything. And I think that the whole, the election itself, arguably unnecessary. I think, probably Trudeau miscalculated how angry people are and thought this was in the bag, or he was just tired of being prime minister. I don't know what the rationale was, but overall, I found this to be a disheartening exercise.
Yeah, my wife made a very interesting observation about the election. She said, and my wife is not a cynical person at all. And she's not very political either. I mean, she's not as engaged as I am in politics, not even remotely as engaged as I am. Quite often, if I've got the news on, she'll go, please turn it off. I can't do this anymore. And she commented out of the blue about a week ago, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the podcast or not, but she said, I think Justin Trudeau has another scandal that's coming down the pipe. And I think he wanted to get in front of it.
That.
That's a brave call, considering his track record.
I mean, it's possible, but even his actual scandals, it's sort of, I don't know. It's just all of this is very lackluster. So maybe there's something, but
yeah,
who knows? And
it's just, to me, it's, and I understand what James is saying. I mean, it doesn't seem like the most mind-blowing observation. For me, though, I guess maybe because you guys don't know my wife. For my wife to suggest that he needed to get in front of something was, I don't know, a little bit more monumental to me, I guess, just based on knowing her and how uncynical she is about the world that we live in. And I think that's where people have put him now. Even people that want to see the best in other humans, right? Like, my wife liked Justin Trudeau. She thought he was a good representation of the country. That is slowly eroded over the last couple of years. And now she's at the point where she's like, he's hiding something. And there's a motivation behind this, right?
Is that the effect, though, of the way that he's covered in media? Like, I mean, because I know a lot more about his scandals than we heard about some of the actual erosions of democracy that were happening under Harper, right? So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what to feel about any of this at this point. I'm just over it. And that's like definitely not a healthy attitude to have, given that, as I say, there's so much that's actually at stake in the sense that we're at this crucial juncture, I think, in sort of where our country goes from here. And this just came up out of the blue. I don't know that anyone was ready for it. Certainly in my riding, the Liberal candidate was just ousted. So if he wins, he's not going to be in the Liberal caucus anyway. So I don't know what their strategy was. Yeah.
Who's your riding person?
It would have been Kevin Wong, or he is still that, but he's not going to be in the Liberals.
That's the guy with the sex assault history. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy that was accused of sexual assault, and then like I can't remember. No, the charges were withdrawn.
The charges were withdrawn, and that's not easy to have happen without.
And they still kept him.
Yeah, so it's just, and I mean, I was really disappointed in how that was treated and dealt with, because I think that a lot of the responses undermined the function of the courts and the judicial system, because, oh yeah, he was charged and withdrawn, but that withdrawal doesn't mean anything. So what, acquittals don't mean anything. So like, what are we saying then? That is, I think, not a good approach to sexual assault, and it actually damages public confidence in the administration of justice.
Yeah, don't you think, Karima, that an argument could be made for that? The thing that got him elected is what ended up getting him kind of hated, which is that he took kind of like woke politics and put such a like desperate almost face on it. Like he the way that he words things, like the she session and the she covery, and and that even that 2015 thing where everyone was like, well done. It was just a boilerplate kind of response. It was a little bit clever, I guess, but I think people saw the photo ops and they thought that his image could like carry them through anything. And then he got overexposed. And when he was getting overexposed, it was all about like extraordinarily like woke stuff. And even, moderates, so that he could catch some like small C conservative. And I think that a lot of people on the left don't like that. I think that they'll support the underlying issues that the woke seem to support, but the way the messages are delivered, there's a lot of people on the left or center left that don't like that at all. And I think Trudeau embodied everything that they hated about that woke, like the extreme woke.
He can be very performative at times, right? So like taking a knee with the police, and it's like, actually, you have the power to do something sort of profound, real. Yeah. And I think that.
Hey, whoa! Are you suggesting for a second that Justin Trudeau? Are you suggesting for a second that Justin Trudeau may have been virtue signaling a little bit over the past couple of years? Is that what you're saying?
I'm fed up with sort of the shift away from people's material realities, because in the end, like, that's actually what matters. And when we talk about things in the abstract, like, it's, I don't mean to discount the importance of language, for example, or symbolism or any of that, but it doesn't matter if people are being evicted or are in debt or can't put food on their table or don't have jobs or childcare or whatever, right? So I guess that's my frustration. And James, maybe that's what you're picking up, where people, are tired of, as Dean put it, virtue signaling. But I mean, it's not inherently bad, I don't think, to signal politics, because that's what we're all doing. We're all performing all the time.
Yeah, but you said something that separated, and I hate to get serious for a second, but I will. You said something that really separated, that took it out of like, hey, virtue signaling or looking like you care, and you got to look like you care. Like, which one is it? He has the power to do something about all the things that he virtue signaled about and didn't do anything about it, right? Like, right. We're talking about residential schools. Remember when he kneeled down with the bear? 5-7 years ago, he said, yeah, dude, he's like, hey, I'm going to give all the indigenous people in this country clean water, no problem, done deal, super easy. Has done zero. And the second they start finding these beautiful little babies and people under the ground, he's like, now I'm on it. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get a picture. I'll take advantage of that. And then I'll go over here. Black Lives Matter. Same thing. He went and took a picture because... I'm helping. Exactly. Hashtag I'm helping. I like that. But in the, and we can talk about Trudeau. I'm fucking super happy no one's picked, let's talk about the Conservatives. Yay, that's a lot of fun. What I want to talk to Cream about, because she documented this stuff like from top to bottom. She documented basically the start of the PPC party, and I'm pretty sure it started on the streets of Toronto. If you haven't seen some of her stuff, she's fucking hilarious. But like, where do you think the anti-vaxxer vote is tonight? And Lachlan brought up a pretty actually interesting comment earlier. He said, hey, listen, what are the chances that these fucking PPCers even vote? Like, are they even that motivated to even get to the fucking polls?
I think more than anything, their past contribution to elections.
Oh,
okay. I'm talking about the ultra fringe. I mean, you see these groups of people, you know, and they're half of them are on rascal scooters. A couple of them are dragging oxygen tanks around, right? You know, they're not the healthiest individuals in the world mentally and physically. And I don't know if that group is. I mean, they
drive DU bicycles. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that group
like
has
participated
in the overall electoral process in the past. And I don't know how serious we can take that fringe group.
I think there are two barriers to the PPC anti-vax vote, so that segment of anti-vaxxers. The first being some of them will try to vote with no masks on. I got an Instagram message today from someone out in Alberta who called the police because he wasn't allowed to go vote. And then they're like, well, did you show your medical exemption? He's like, I don't have one, but I do have one. I just don't have it on. So anyway, so that's going to happen. They're going to be stubborn and not do that. And I think others will be confused if they don't live in Bernier's riding. They're going to be confused. Like, who do I vote for? Maxime Bernier is not on here.
Yep.
So I think that those are two potential barriers to that vote. And it's just, I think that there's a lack of understanding of civics, and you know they're certainly not getting that information from their camp.
I love how nice you are. I love how nice you are. I certainly think that group doesn't have an understanding of civics. They don't.
They can't define civics. Let's be honest.
They spell civics.
Hondas.
They spell civics.
There's a lot of Hondas, right?
They spell civics with a 6. That's how dumb that group is. Like they think there's a silent P in knife. That's how dumb the PPC voter is. To your point, Rob sent this in. He's like, a PPC voter in Niagara Head today had a temper tantrum when the polling staff asked him the COVID screening questions. He left without voting. Way to affect change, fella.
Yeah.
And to your point, Locke, I heard the cops were called in Edmonton. Is that true?
There was a couple that decided that they were going to go oddly in North Edmonton. And they were gonna, which is a rougher part of town anyway. Whatever, North Edmonton joke. They were called, or they went to vote, and it's my right, it's my fucking freedom. I don't need to wear a mask, and they wouldn't let him into the gymnasium or the community hall or whatever it is. And then they called the police, and fuck off, go home.
Yeah,
go home, you idiots.
Exactly.
Generally speaking, I mean, you know, that's what's new for me in this election, right? It's the idea that cops are getting called to polling stations because people aren't wearing masks.
Like so few. Like I went online today to see how many. I thought there would be a lot, but I mean, a lot of them are pussies, right? And they don't have. It isn't a group thing, right? So they haven't got somebody to like get behind and.
They for sure draw strength in numbers, 100%.
Yeah,
guys,
they're on the poll to themselves.
Someone called the cops on me at a polling station. Really, I'm not kidding.
No way.
Yeah, well, it was the election after I did the voting stunt, and so apparently when I got to my polling station, all the polling worker or whatever had to take me aside and have a meeting, and then ask me what idea I was bringing to quote. This, and I was like, what are you talking about? I'm here to vote. Here's my whatever. And they called the cops, and the cops were like, just let him vote. And that was the whole incident. So anyways, I don't know. I'm just saying
that was
polling stations
that's
sometimes
just
call the cops on.
People know you're a dick, so they're just
but not like this. Yeah,
True.
Yeah,
they're right.
Thanks, man.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, here comes James.
Here's
Call the
the
cops
dick
just in
police.
case.
Yeah.
But to that point, Karima, like the difference is there's a segment of voters now that I've never seen before, right? And that's the pissed off, visibly upset, parade around downtown Toronto or whatever city that you're in, go to a hospital and stand there for a while because you don't have a fucking job. Like all this group, who did they vote for before Bernier showed up? Like that's my. Are they conservatives? Did they not vote? Like where do you think these people are from, Karima?
I think it's probably not strictly conservative, but I would say majority conservative, and maybe some segments who didn't vote. But I'm also aware of people from other parties who have defected to this fringe. So, if there's a particular issue that resonates or someone's life has been so negatively affected by the pandemic that this becomes appealing, I think that's a possibility.
I think it's a net zero gain on the PPC side. That's my thoughts on it. And
you don't think they get any seats?
No.
Does anybody here think they're going to get a seat?
I don't think that group. I don't think that group voted. I think the majority of that group didn't vote conservative. I don't think they were involved in the process at all.
I've got some live numbers if you
want.
They
were already priming themselves though. Like I was I think I was in Hamilton, and just like sitting on a bench, sort of listening to the people next to me. And they were already like, yeah, this election is rigged no matter what. That mail-in vote, it's all a scam. Like, even though we don't use machines for counting in Canada. So it's all like, counted by a human person. And there's what, sir?
I said they'll just stuff the
He's agreeing with you.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
The ballot. They stuffed the ballot. They changed the name. Yeah.
Pivot,
I heard one the other day was a great one. It was like, they're telling people I heard this yesterday. They're telling people to bring their own pencils, which they wear pens or pencils, bring your own single-use pencils, right? Because it's COVID. And it's like, yeah, you know what they're doing right there, eh? And I go, no, tell me. I'm fascinated. What are they doing right there, eh? And he's like, well, what they're doing is they're telling you to bring a pencil because they're going to change it. They're just going to erase it. And I'm like, oh, good one. I'm going to leave now because I'm so much fucking dumber for listening to you for the last 30 seconds. But that's literally how I feel. Update from Ryan Lindley. Lion, you got some live numbers on election 44. Over to Ryan, who's got live numbers. Everybody,
I do, but I'd like to start with some breaking news that somebody has shared in the comments here. 7 people, including a 4-year-old child, were hit by a car in a lineup at a Montreal polling station, and it sounds like it's a developing story, but it doesn't seem too good.
Not be intentional.
Police say so far it appears it was accidental at this point. My wife and I are lucky because we are accelerating towards us, and the people in front of us just got mowed down. My wife and I are lucky. Yeah, it's just an eyewitness account on a CTV news. It's a breaking news story.
Wow.
So as of I'll keep an eye on that. But poll numbers. Right now, the Liberals actually have 1 seat. Nobody else. The polls in Newfoundland, Labrador are closed as of 7 o'clock when we started this broadcast. So Liberals have got 14,336 votes. The Conservatives are at 11,659. New Democratic Party is at 3,828. The Green Party has 48. Other Party has 13. And the PPC has 905. So the PPC and the fringe parties is actually like blowing the doors off of, and the Bloc has nothing.
Yeah.
So
it's because they haven't counted Quebec yet, right?
What are you tallying up?
Total votes coming in from the East Coast, James.
Oh, okay.
Atlantic Canada,
like the whole province, or just
Newfoundland, Labrador. Yeah, just a couple of right now at this point. There's like I say, there's only about 30,000 votes tallied so far. So. 46%.
I've got
37 to the Conservatives at this point.
Thank you very much for that quick update from Atlantic Canada from Ryan Lindley. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got another update here. Ladies and gentlemen, this may come as a shock. The Liberals have 13 seats as of right now. In Atlantic Canada, they're projected to win 13, Conservative 4, NDP 1, Bloc Dick Squat, Green Dick Squat, PPC not even on the register. Zero.
Our polls match. What happened?
These are the numbers that you're giving though, Dean. They're the leading seats, the elected seat. They've only got 1 elected seat confirmed at this point.
Yeah, but they're putting these things up for posterity, right? Like those are the ones. Those are seats where they're leading, places where they have seats right now. If depending on how they're counting the vote, that is the way it sits as of now, correct? Like as of right now, counting.
Absolutely.
Right, all right.
Yeah, live and as we're sitting here on my 4th drink. So
thank you very much. What do you got there? What do you have?
Yeah, I just had an insider call. And he said that Ryan's drunk.
Yeah, he's for sure drunk. And I don't know if you know this, James has been like a superstar today, but he might be the highest I've ever seen him at the same time keeping it together. Like he's doing a great job in this podcast.
Yeah,
Really good
Cool. I
job.
like
Totally
him better right now. He's good.
Yeah,
I like him
this is-
better.
This is close to catatonic. Yeah,
catatonic. What the fuck are you talking about?
you're close. I don't think it'll be 8:30. No, I know you look great. I think
I
this
haven't
is
even
great.
done any
This
shrooms
is
yet.
exciting.
guys. This is all weed.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, this is just weed. Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And Karima, what are we enjoying this evening? Just a soda water, I'm sure, because you're a serious lawyer that does serious business. Is that correct?
Soda water is gross. I would prefer Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
I like Mountain Dew just because soda water is disgusting. No, I've been smoking joints. I can't smoke inside, but I'm a comfortable level of I have an average appearance. This is where I'm at.
Do you remember that
Okay,
scene?
so
in The
when we
Simpsons?
talk,
Do you remember that scene in The
average
Simpsons when
appearances.
Homer is in New York and he's like, the guy's like, "Do you want crab juice or Mountain Dew?" And Homer's like, "Mountain Dew." Oh no, crab juice. He chose the
Crab juice.
Sorry, I am always.
I had somebody bring me Mountain Dew from the States because the stuff we get in Canada doesn't have like all the caffeine they do. And it's different. It's another animal down there, eh? Like the US Mountain Dew, which some people call tard juice, is fucking awesome. It's full on. You can taste the caffeine.
That is,
The YouTube live.
Their Popeyes is better.
Buddy.
Their Popeyes chicken is better too. Is that what you just said?
It is better for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
I had the Popeyes. Breaking news: I had the Popeyes chicken breaking election news. I had the Popeyes chicken sandwich, and it was shit up here. So I don't know what they're giving them in the States to kill each other over. But I would never murder anyone for the Popeyes chicken sandwich that I got here. Like, there's no way. I wouldn't even stand in line for it. Nonetheless, fight someone over it or pull out a fucking knife and stab some guy for one.
I wouldn't kill anybody.
I had one bite of the Popeyes chicken sandwich. One bite.
But
I'm
if
like,
the guy was significantly
this is
smaller than me, I'd fight him for it. It's a decent
no, you
sandwich.
wouldn't. That's the thing. You wouldn't. If you tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich, you'd be like, no, you can just have it. You would just give it to the guy. There'd be no way you'd want to fight someone over it.
You know what I
Seriously.
would fight somebody for, and I've only had it once in my life. But we went down to Vegas and we took an Uber to the In-N-Out Burger. Have you guys ever had In-N-Out Burger?
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's incredible.
Oh my god! Like it. Yeah. Like I'd fight in the streets for that. It
What about
was-
Arby's?
Arby's? Listen, I haven't had Arby's in this. Have I had Arby's in the States? There was a
course you
long
have.
period of time where I was not allowed into the United States. That's another podcast. So I've only been down a couple of times.
Are you allowed to vote, technically? Are you allowed to vote?
Yes.
Who'd you vote for?
My illegal activities.
Who'd you
my-
vote for?
PPC. I'm kidding.
Okay.
No.
Who'd you vote for? I voted. I voted Jagmeet.
I voted conservative. I mean,
Attaboy.
I was gonna fuck around this time because
No.
I've
You're
done
homophobic.
I've done
You're homophobic,
protest votes. No, I'm not. I did protest votes in the past. Couple of elections because I'm so disenfranchised with the entire
Thing.
sort of idea of it. But I had this outside thought that maybe there's a chance that that the Liberals might not win this time. So I didn't want to be a dick. So I wanted to make sure my vote counted.
All right.
Anyway.
Lindley, did you vote? You vote yet?
I did. Yeah, we
Who'd you
we
vote?
actually mailed ours in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Do you talk about who you vote for in your house, or do you hold that a secret like most losers?
Most losers usually, but just seeing as there's just the six of us, I guess I could tell you that
No one's watching.
actually I voted Liberal, and so did my wife.
Wow.
For the first time in my life.
Yeah.
Really? That's the
I
first
really
time
did.
you.
First time in my
Dude.
life that I voted Liberal, and it's
See
and it
this
was-
guy? See this guy? See him? He worked for the NDP party. This election got in people's heads. I voted NDP. I voted for Jagmeet Singh.
Yeah.
I voted for him. And I'm like, James sent me his fucking thing on DM. He's like, I'm voting NDP. I'm like, fucking hilarious that we're voting for the NDP. But I literally had to.
I've never sat and felt so pensive with a piece of paper on my desk and a pen in my hand.
Huh.
And I had pangs of guilt. I had, uncertainty. I don't like Justin Trudeau whatsoever as a person. I love Jagmeet Singh as a person, but I had to look at pandemic response. I had to look at the way he's been, this TikTok thing that he's on. Like, I couldn't imagine Angela. I wonder, what did Angela Merkel, what did she put on her TikTok before election night? Like, what other G7 leaders are on TikTok in a shower getting fucking rained on? How can I vote for that?
It's not even a porn. It's not even a porn.
Huh?
No,
I understand why people, have a visceral response to that. And when you think about who actually turns up to the polls, perhaps it was a little, counterproductive. But he was picking up on a trend on TikTok, and I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't. I would prefer that he was able to answer questions more substantively. So that's maybe a bigger
I thought
issue than his TikTok things.
I think Jagmeet, like, I watched a lot of the not the debates, but the one-on-one stuff, and I didn't mind Jagmeet, and I swore I would never vote NDP in my entire life, but I almost thought about it this election.
It fucked people up. That's my point.
Well,
is it fucked people up? Like, it made people do and say things and vote for people traditionally they never would have. Let's get to the Jagmeet video now. This is the one that Karima, who, by the way, out of all of us, she's a social media stallion. Like, no one does it better. And she's the only person that likes this. Outnumbered? Maybe. Are we wrong? Maybe. Who knows?
Obviously, that's
okay. I haven't seen it.
Well, here's the video. Dude, I posted it this morning. I'm like,
I don't think we should show it unless he's naked.
I don't know.
What's wrong with this?
It's hilarious.
What's wrong with that?
I don't even know what it is.
Ryan, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that.
Isn't
Why
the
were
problem
you so upset about that?
Well, isn't the problem actually that he's doing kind of in a different style, a little bit more humorous, but I'm seeing a campaign that is similar in a lot of ways to Trudeau's 2015 campaign.
Yeah,
just that image branding side of it, and I don't know. I got branding, image branding fatigue. I think I don't like it. I just find it distracting from
it's off-putting. It's very off-putting.
I can't tell you what Jagmeet's views are on Saudi arms deals. But I can tell you that he that he likes to ride skateboards and walk on his hands. Like, that's fucking.
And go on train rides.
Like,
can he walk on his hands?
Very
true. I didn't know
Trudeau-ish.
that. I would have voted for him.
Yes.
Very true.
I'm fucking even happier I voted for him now. Yeah,
I am in.
That's hard to do.
And I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
barely do a headstand.
when you always put your foot in your mouth, you have no choice, right? Like, I gotta walk.
Well, but Karima, you said something earlier, and listen, and this isn't why I voted for him. I didn't vote for him because he makes really cool, like, Giphy videos. I don't care.
I love
about
how
that.
mad Ryan is at it.
Yeah, he's fucking triggered by this, isn't he? Look at him. Look at him. Look at his face.
Stop it. Stop it. It really shook me because I had such high hopes, and I've been a fan since Jack Layton days, and that's why I got behind it. That's why I was on the executive board for the provincial and for the federal NDP here in Hamilton Mountain.
Big wig.
I resigned my position back in June and July watching him, and it was because I couldn't get behind it. I really couldn't do it. I just couldn't get behind him. There's another local guy here that I'm not a big fan of either, and the between the two, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. And
what's the local guy's exact name?
I'm not going into that because that's going to cause a whole uproar in the comments, and I'm not getting into it because you want to talk. And this is a thing I don't want to say that.
I need to know his name now.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will put it up. Anybody that's in here from around Hamilton,
Ryan. You can't give the morsel without giving us the bun.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so someone wants to know. We're already guessing. Is it Fred? Is it Fred?
That's the mayor, Fred Eisenberger. That's not who it is.
So Rob's going to continue to guess, and I'm going to continue to put the guesses on until you say yes. Okay. That's how it works around here.
That's fine.
Welcome to the podcast.
That's fine. I'll let somebody. This will be part of the game. We had this. Yeah. There it is. Rob got it there.
Hey, Matthew Green. Welcome to the Dean Blundell Show, Matthew Green.
So what's wrong with
Apparently,
this
Matthew
chick?
Green suffers from imposter syndrome. Actually, he doesn't, and that's the problem. Apparently, according to Ryan Lindley, but not me.
Yeah. Guys, we have some more breaking news. More breaking news here.
Can we bring the midget
Liberals
back
now
on again? I want to talk
Yeah,
about
we can.
GoPro.
Pull me out. Bring Jimmy in because I got to piss.
You got to go pee? Okay,
Piss.
you're going to go
He's gotta
pee,
piss.
ladies and gentlemen.
He's got to
Jimmy's
piss.
back. Jimmy's back. Back again.
There he is.
Jimmy's back.
I'm
Jimmy's
here.
back. Jimmy's back. Jimmy's back. Jimmy's back.
Do we really want to talk about the GoPro with Green?
I can't remember why we put a GoPro on.
I
your
know
head.
exactly why, but it's just
What was it?
Okay, so can I?
Was it the
Karima.
ass cam?
I'm okay with this if you're okay with. I'm curious now at this point. So
okay. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't an ass cam thing. That was boom stock. But
We used to do this thing where we'd put him in a GoPro on his head and send him into crowds of people at concerts, and then we would get the production staff at the concerts to tap into the GoPro, and then we'd be on stage going, "Ladies and gentlemen, James P. White and the ass cam," and then Jimmy would fucking run through the fucking
you know how
crowd.
many bare
and all
asses
you
I
could
saw, and most
all
of
you
them
could
were
see was
guys.
ass. Oh yeah, and a lot of guys were like dropping drawers, and we had the video of that. But I can't remember why we put a
No, it
GoPro on
wasn't-
you, and you ended up in the bathroom.
That wasn't that. It was eating our way through K-Days. I forgot I was wearing a GoPro. Remember when we were going around and eating all these different foods? We had a second camera on my head.
Yeah,
And then I went to the
That's
bathroom to use the bathroom, and people were looking at me funny that I was wearing a GoPro.
yeah.
And
that
I
didn't go over
forgot
well.
I was wearing a GoPro.
And then he went
until-
into the bathroom, pulled his hog out, and we saw
And then-
Big Jimmy on the GoPro.
Then I looked down and realized I was wearing a GoPro, and I was trying to pee looking at the wall.
Yeah, and like I said, he's got a nice looking cock and a half decent. He's got. Put your hands up, Jimmy.
Are you trying to
Put your
get him
hands up.
laid? What's going on?
Well, I'm just being honest. He's got small hands, right? He's got like Trump hands, so it looks bigger in his hands, right?
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm not
You're
tou-
welcome.
I'm not touching your dinger, Diener, just to see how big yours is.
I'm not. Do people ask?
That has been questions.
Have you had guys ask you to sorry, Karima, earmuffs. Have you had guys ask you to grab their wangs just so that their wang looks huge in a small hand?
More than once.
They're
At
pedophiles.
At-
They're
at more-
pedophiles. Those ones.
We've
Telling you.
tried to get him to switch teams. He would be way more successful playing for the other camp. Honestly,
I'm not
We
done.
all-
I'm
we all
not done
would.
asking questions. This is an election night super show, and I'm not done asking my election night super show questions.
All of us would do better, Lachlan. Like, come on.
James, I'm asking. I'm talking.
Yeah, go
right
ahead.
now, I'm talking.
Yeah. Please take over the
I can't stop
testicle
laughing.
show.
Yeah, I will. Don't you worry. I will. I'll take over the testicle show. All right. Watch this. James, have you ever obliged someone?
No.
Jimmy's
That's
from
not
Southern
a full no.
Alberta. We'll
Hang
leave it
on.
at that.
Hang on. Hang on. That is not a full no, Jimmy. That is not a full no. You gave me a partial no. You went like this. No. So,
Not
have
with,
you done that yet?
Not with men, but I've compared my hands to other parts on women. If trying to be, kind of.
this is
polite. There
this
is a woman in the
This
group.
is the awkwardness that you get daily on our show. By
I'm
the way,
actually women in the audience, I think. So
tune in
Oh, no.
tomorrow.
Sorry,
for
sorry,
more
I
of
didn't mean
this.
to call you audience. I mean, in the group, but it just, I lost a lot of.
you're a gentleman.
My
Nick.
br-
Yeah,
That's right.
gentleman's a word we toss around a lot when we bring up James P. White.
Even though he doesn't wear pants most of the time.
Okay. Jimmy, how drunk are you now? Out of 10.
I've had 2 Jimmy's IPAs, I've had a Bud, and I've had this thing. So
Yeah, I didn't ask how many beers you had. I said, how drunk are you?
I'd say
Out of
I'm
10.
out of 10, 3.5.
Oh, you're letting us down, dude.
I just
Well,
also
I
want to
understand.
point out that gentleman is sort of a synonym for little person. Think about it.
It isn't.
Is it?
No, it
Gentle,
isn't.
little,
Don't.
man,
no,
person.
You're making us
Come
think
on.
too much, James.
There's a reason. There's a reason why I hate midgets and little people. A lot of the guys I met are man whore pigs. That I've seen. Sorry, he kind of enraged
Keep going.
Me there.
Go ahead.
I've seen them take.
Yeah.
Do a girl
And
in
the
the
Liberals
bathroom
are
and leave
still
her in a
winning.
bar. I've seen it.
What have you seen? I still don't even know what you're saying.
The person walking away out of the bathroom. No,
Yeah.
No, I've seen her or seen him
all right.
take it like have sex with a woman in the bathroom, take her to a bar, and leave her there passed out.
That's
Oh,
rape,
no.
isn't it, dude?
No,
that-
she wasn't drunk. She was just really drunk.
Well, that's rape.
Okay. Well, that's better. That's not a great story.
That's a
It's
great
not
story,
right.
Jimmy.
That's
Thank
a
you for
horrible
that.
bit. It's
Terrible story. Yeah.
It was
Great,
Gotta-
great story, dude.
Jimmy, keep
what
drinking.
this
I'm
is.
gonna put you in timeout now, Jim.
That's
Thanks.
a good move. That's a really strong move. When he comes back, get him to tell the cilantro story. Holy fuck.
There's
He's
a
like- he's-
cilantro story.
Yeah.
He's like the
People know what I'm talking
the
about.
downtrodden version of Pokeroo. Do you guys remember Pokeroo from Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, big time. Yeah. Well, anyway, well, Karima, listen, thank you. Sorry about the last 10 minutes.
What about the first 20?
Okay.
Yeah, in the first 5 to 7.
There's a middle part there we should apologize for too.
Yeah, sorry about the whole
Yeah.
thing, really. You know?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but here's the crazy part. I'm
I
still
blame
having a
Rook.
great time. I'm still having a great time. Before you go, I just want just want to get your opinion on this woman. She was in Toronto today. Did you see this? Wearing the shirt, unvaxxed. She looks like someone you'd follow around for a few weeks. Unvaxxed, waxed, and ready to climax. Now that's a hot babe. Have you seen this lady before? Any of your events?
I think I would remember that face, and I don't think I've seen it before.
Yeah, no. She's
At least he's honest.
she thought she was in line for a fucking horror movie as an extra.
I like that.
Look at her. Jesus, I'm gonna have nightmares. Fuck me.
What is-
Look at that.
Who does that?
Train wreck.
And you know, here's the thing. I was thinking about it today. Is that there are guys out there that will be like, all right. I'm not one of them.
We should
but
bring
there are
Jimmy
guys
back.
out there that are like,
he knows anybody.
For everyone, that's
Yeah.
the way of the world.
Everyone needs
well,
love.
no, I'm talking about the unvaxxed and the waxed portion, and I don't care about how she looks. I'm just saying like that is
That's a big contingency also, and yeah, they're going to be interesting to watch. I suspect you're right. A lot of them won't end up voting. And, you know, there have been lots of conversations about strategic voting amongst them, which is also, it's been interesting to overhear. And some of them are voting for Chris Sky and just writing his name on the ballot. So
yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
democracy is winning. We're doing great.
You know what I love, Karima? This is the truth. I love the fact that that group is talking voting strategy. Would love to be in those conversations.
Oh, it's really something. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have the conversations? Do they happen between draws on their cigarette?
Yeah.
You vote liberal, I'll vote conservative.
Let me get
We
my
won't tell
shit
anyone.
out.
They're worried about, they're worried that if they vote PPC, then, you know, Trudeau's going to win again, but he's going to win again anyway because it's rigged. So it's a very circular conversation.
Yeah.
That's the rigged thing. I can't. That's the other thing. You know, like I thought we were immune to the stuff that happened in the States. We're not. Like
No,
thinking
we're
about
not.
people.
That's the takeaway.
Like yeah. That the rhetoric that you're hearing is the same out of the States, right?
It is, and it's also, so we're importing specific forms of political violence, I think, and also discourse. And just if we look at who the Conservatives hired to run their campaigns, you know, these are names that we wouldn't recognize because they're behind the scenes, but they were, you know, responsible for Brexit, responsible for the rise of sort of right-wing demagogues, and it turned like O'Toole doesn't have the charisma for that. So I think that, you know,
Take that back. Archie Bunker is doing a great job swooning everyone. You know what? I have a question. Karima, you're the one of the individuals that still has a functioning brain on the panel. How far away do you think we are from a Trump type catastrophe on a federal level in Canada? Like, do you think? Because I think we're closing in on it. I think we're within 5-10. Yeah.
Sorry, you're going to say 5-10 months or years?
5-10 years, I think.
No. I don't think it's that far.
Really? Okay.
I
think we're going to have some fucking lunatics in the House this year. Like, I mean,
are you talking about like people storming the Capitol, or are you talking about like people in government that are so fucking loose,
getting into any level, like somebody winning, like the semen retention warrior, fucking winning and representing a group of people in our country? I mean, I don't think we'll ever get to a Trump level of catastrophe in this country, but I think we're gonna start seeing people that are just complete fucking lunatics in Congress,
like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and those. You think that's
numbers are going to grow?
Yeah. Karima, you think so?
I think it's a distinct possibility. Like right now, the support is, I think, too diffused. Like it's not concentrated enough to. And maybe they'll get a seat or two. I don't know. But I think that it's not impossible, especially as the PPC continues to rebrand itself, bring new people under its wing and umbrella. Like that's not inconceivable. They've grown immensely since the last election, compared to where they were at. And it would be a mistake to think that we are somehow immune to a Trump-like phenomenon. I think that's false solace.
Karima, do you think it's because of just like it's so laser focused on COVID and restrictions? Do you think that is the reason why
that has propelled it? I think that's definitely a catalyst, but it's also sort of given home to these or people who feel disenfranchised, or who have really specific kind of visions. And if we look at the PPC platform, I think it's pretty appealing to developers and like groups that might traditionally, like, they vote and their vote might change. So I think, like, I'm concerned about how things are going, deeply.
Yeah, why I am too is because and it's not just because of last week, but it's because of the buildup and some of the rhetoric that's being used, right? And I'm to take this a little bit seriously, because I think it's important to a little bit, not a lot, but enough that we're somewhat credible in talking about it. It's the demagoguery of and the speech patterns and what people are saying to these people, because I've realized now there's a difference between disinformation and misinformation, right? Misinformation is stuff that we might pass along unknowingly that might be wrong in the heat of the moment or when we're tweeting or something. That's misinformation. But this disinformation, and I want to play a little clip. This is from the rally. We played it this last week on the show. But I want to play a little clip, and this is Maxime Bernier. And this is disinformation. This is like grabbing common language and phraseology that we all understand and like using words like common sense, which to me is, you're out for the greater good, all that stuff. But taking ownership of those common phrases and words, and then on top of taking ownership of that, then applying the disinformation channel to whatever it is that he's saying.
Because there's no reason to do segregation and discrimination. Because every Canadian is in the same boat. Everybody can spread the virus. Yes, we know that vaccinated people that decided to have the vaccine, if they have COVID-19, they will have mild symptoms. But like myself and a lot of Canadians that decided not to have the vaccine, they can spread the virus. So there's no reason to do that segregation. I want to be able to go to a restaurant, I want to be able to go to a baseball game. And I'm saying to people who decided to have the vaccine, your life is not in danger if people unvaccinated are with you because you took the vaccine. You protect yourself. So let's reopen the economy, say no to lockdowns. Saying no to vaccine passport and yes to freedom. And actually we know that vaccine passport has an expiration date. It will be in 8 months when they will ask you to take the 3rd shot, the 4th one, or the 5th one. So people must understand, enough is enough. We want to go back to our life before COVID-19.
I have that shirt. I do. My wife bought it for me. I wore that out for dinner on our anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I put a tweet out. I put a tweet out that apparently there was a clearance sale at Walmart on their George line right before this rally in Toronto.
That's one of 3 shirts I have with buttons on it. I swear to God.
Wow.
Oh my God. But that's my point, is that like that's the disinformation that we're talking about, right? Like that's the stuff that we're trying to get rid of. That's the kind of stuff that we're trying to figure out. Like, you know, it's not bad enough there's misinformation, but then to co-opt common phrases and then just tell everybody, by the way, you're gonna have to get 500 more shots. Like that's just fucking bananas. And it's the crazy part is that this is exactly what that group wants to hear, Karima, right? Like that's what they went for. Oh, someone who's in the government telling me that I'm okay to be a derelict. This is the best.
I see in the comments, like the PPC provides a sense of community to people who are otherwise perhaps antisocial or have antisocial tendencies, not in the sense of being like recluse or shy, but just have sort of personality issues and are
we've constructed this tent. Come in. I mean, they've got a community now, and I think we had a conversation this morning. It would be interesting to see where we were at if this is 25 years ago. If we were going through COVID 25, 30 years ago, before social media was so predominant in all of our lives, would we be where we are? I don't think we would be, man. I think there's been a lot that has fueled what we're going through right now.
I'd like to see a side by side of that speech and Trump's speech right before January 6th happened.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the side by side and just catch the similarities and phrase like Dean said, phraseology, the words that were used, and that just
they
it
do
resonates
it on purpose, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, dude, it's co-opting the language that we use to support each other, and then saying it's a terrible thing they're doing to us. And here's the other thing: is that this is how you know these guys are just fucking jackoffs. Is that none of these guys would have jobs if it wasn't for COVID? None of these parties would have guys going, yeah, that's feasible. Anti-immigration sounds great. Let's all walk around like we're racist and tell people they can't come into the biggest, freest country in the world. All the others have freedom of speech.
I'd like to point that out again. Like, I mean, I've felt a little bit guilty over the last little while leading up to the election because I'm so anti-government and so anti-politics and I've just been on the show and on this podcast. I feel like I've just been shitting on the whole idea of democracy and what's in front of us. And lately I've sort of not so much backpedaling, but lately I've been in a state of mind where I'm like, you know what? Fuck, we live in the best country in the world, and we still need to vote. We may be in a position right now where we're disenfranchised, where we're all impacted. Like you can see it on the faces of people when we're discussing this shit, right? What was that?
James, I believe, is grinding mushrooms as we speak now.
Shitting his pants.
Maybe I should mute it. Should I mute it? Guys, should I mute it?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. That'd be fucking the only election show where some guy's grinding mushrooms in the middle of it. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I still think that needs to be said out loud. We live in the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to be living in Canada. As fucked up as everything is right now.
That sounds Trumpian to me.
I think there's still an obligation to get out, exercise your right to vote, and you know what? That I felt like I needed to say that, and I've been sending that message out a little bit more over the last week or so, as opposed to let's burn the fucking bridge down, right? You know what I mean? Like, anyway.
Yeah, I get it. It's nice of you to say that because you're a cantankerous old fuck, right? So it's we get it. You're just I'm a cantankerous old fuck.
I've always been like that, Dean. I've always been the get off my lawn guy. Like I was like that when I was 20. So I'm not sure it's much has changed.
Right.
Like I'm still anyway.
Do you want me to give you an update that will make you happy there, old man?
All right.
Liberals are currently leading in 24 different seats, different areas, whatever you call them, ridings. I think that's the one. I'm like, I shouldn't be the guy doing the election show. Ridings. Conservatives lead in 8, Bloc in 0, NDP 0, Green 0, PPC not even on the board. With another numbers update, let's go to Ryan Lindley. Ryan, go ahead, Ryan. Ryan Lindley, you got a numbers update for us, Ryan? Go ahead, Ryan.
Do. You totally stole it, but that's fine. I'll just repeat what you said. The Liberals are at 77,000 votes at this point.
Here's the update. Now we're going to go to Ryan with the repeat of the update.
So he can say the same thing I did.
Yeah.
62,000, 77,000 for the Liberals, 62,000 for the
we got to do
Conservatives.
this every election, guys.
28,000 for the NDP.
We're your news leaders.
And also, guys, the Liberals got 72,000 votes, and the Conservatives got like 60 something. Just to let you know, I just wanted to.
Yeah, thank
78,000 and 63,000. Right.
Good, thank you.
Right.
Let's check in with the guy grinding mushrooms now.
Yeah.
You just did.
James, can you slur your way through an update? Go ahead, James.
Well, the thing about the Canadian election is this. No, I don't know. I no, I'm not slurring. I'm not like all fucked up. I'm smoking.
You're horrible at the radio voice, James. I'm sorry.
No, I don't like that voice. That's a really awful voice.
Hey, can I?
Okay, Dean.
No, hang on. We got
to fucking center. Like this is gonna blow your guys. What?
Just wait. Okay. We need to say goddbye to Karima because we got a couple other guests waiting to come in. Karima's going to be back a little later if she wants. The door is open, Karima.
I will. I'm just going to hang out here in the lobby and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Karima, by the way, this comes up every time you're on. Everyone is aware of the fact that Bonzi is stealing your look. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
My look, ladies.
We're going to be a whole army. I like it. It looks good.
You can't even hear him.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Bonzi.
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
Go get the red ones.
Go get the routine. You have to start your routine over. Start the routine over.
Okay.
Block, I'm going to kick you in the balls.
Why?
That'll be a nice
How
greeting.
dare you.
I'll pick you up at the airport and then.
No,
boom,
it's incredible. Let's bring Karima back in just for a second. I'm going to bring Karima back in. You are stealing her look, dude. Yeah, you were pulling the Karima. You got the same shades. No,
I ordered red on Amazon. I can't wear red now because I can't steal Karima's thunder. I did order them, but I forgot that Karima wore red, and now I can't.
Or as Bonzi,
you should apply that to all the classes.
I'm not even wearing it. I'll be blind for the rest of the show. How's that?
That's
no.
Now I can't even see the colors. They're all fuzzy.
Don't get butt hurt. Just put the fucking glasses back on. Like we're all stealing someone's look.
No.
I think it shows unity. I like it.
Bonzi's about to steal my look.
Hair.
Bonzi is about to steal my look when he stops looking like a serial killer.
Yep.
Can we do something?
Am I?
Can we do something real quick before we get to? I don't even know why you're even here. To be honest with you.
You invited me, motherfucker. That's why.
You're bringing up childhood trauma when you talk to him like that, Dean. Stop it.
No, I want to.
Said everybody. We need Bonzi on the show.
No one said that.
I don't disagree
His
with you.
mom said that. His dad said that.
I said that.
Okay.
So I just want to say, Ryan, nice hair. Nice hair, Ryan. Bonzi, look at Ryan's hair.
Hey. So Bonzi, let's everybody relax for a second. Because we're all talking at the same time. Sounds like the fucking romper room. Bonzi, take your hat off.
Let's get professional here for a minute. Take your hat off.
Take your hat off.
And your pants.
Here we go.
No, leave your pants on. No, now turn to the side. Turn to the side. Turn to the side.
You have a 15 hat.
Christ. You look like Buffalo Bill. Jesus. Stop it.
I have no idea that was your hair, man.
Yeah, check his freezer.
But yes, I still have hair.
Check his freezer.
What do you got in your garden?
Bonzi likes his coffee, or likes his women like he likes his coffee, ground up and in the freezer.
I like my
Lindley, I hope you don't have a day job. Jesus Christ, that was harsh.
I know.
Jesus. Okay, here, watch this.
Number 5.
Skullet needs to go. That's from Stony.
Shape it now.
Bonzi,
Emily.
you look like you're going to start raising pigs soon.
Emily's.
But that's why I wear a hat. It's a flow in the back. I don't need to. We're all in lockdown. I haven't had a reason to.
There's no excuse
have a
for
normal
that
haircut in a while.
I'm on James's side. You can't sell that dude at all.
So,
I didn't realize how bad it was. Like, dude,
What are you being
you
stubborn
were selling
about?
advertising on that forehead. You can
Dean,
make a
do you
little
have the
fucking
picture of him? Do you have the picture of Bonzi where he looks like Steve Austin's, like, special needs cousin or something? Like he looks like
no, good.
better. He looks a lot better though. Like he's got a goatee and a shaved head.
We're both
I'm
going
just
to
trying to get it.
We're going to be both unemployed on the PPC lines.
Between you and Lindley, we're canceled.
Retention.
I'm trying to find it. The one. Well, first of all, Bonzi, listen. The problem with it, it's not that you have a skullet. Well, I guess that's part of the problem that you have a skullet.
Exactly what it is.
A skullet.
Yeah.
The only thing.
The problem. The problem
But
is
nobody sees it. That's the thing.
no. Well, hold it. We all just saw it because I made you take your fucking hat off.
'cause
So
I
it's.
was part of the show, bro.
I know you're part of the show, bro.
Generous for you. No,
What
I'm
I'm
just
saying
saying
is-
it was.
Like you said the other day in a tweet, you're like, should I shave it? Because you had one picture of you with your head shaved and you look like $1,000,000. Kind of look. Oh, there you go. There's the skullet, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow,
that is fucking. What Lachlan said. We do gotta check your freezer. We really do.
that's a picture you see when the police are re-releasing somebody into.
It's a hand,
And they're like, listen, there's a solid chance that this man
Look
is
at those
going to
eyes.
reoffend. And he's moving into your neighborhood.
You know what that says to me? It says to me, you should. That guy goes door to door and says, "Hi, the police told me I have to tell you I'm a sex offender."
Yeah,
That's
I don't have to
I'll do my
explain
mouth
what
at
I
the trailer
did.
park later.
I don't have to tell you what I did, but I'm supposed to tell you I'm on the list.
well. Go ahead. What were you going to
Where's
say?
the other one? At least put up the nice, handsome, bald one. So you say.
You know what? The problem here, Bonzi, is that you're a good-looking guy too. Like
Thanks,
that's
Rob.
unnecessary.
Thanks,
Like
buddy.
when you're dealing with what I'm dealing with, which
What
is
the fuck
you're
was that?
starting
What
at
did you
the
just
back
have on
of
the screen?
line.
That was fucking scary. Okay, sorry.
When you're dealing with the back of the line of good looks, and you see a guy that's fucking decent looking, and you've done that to yourself. That's why you're getting picked on here right now, is because that's awful. You need to.
But let's be honest. When's the last time I don't show that in public? It's been all part of my show, and now it's part of Dean's special election show. And I listen. At this point, I do not really care what one motherfucker on this planet thinks about my hair or my ginormous
Good for you.
forehead.
What
Good
about
for you.
millions of motherfuckers? What about just
I wear a hat. But I know things are about to change, and I said this to somebody today that I've been chatting with, a lovely lady who said, well, they are. I just feel that, and I knew the hair was coming off sooner or later. I can't just keep rocking this thing forever. I got to go perform a wedding in February.
What are you doing at a
so I got to look all.
Pump the brakes.
Perform what?
Reverend Bonzi and the MC in Vancouver Island.
You're marrying
story.
somebody?
Yeah, I already have. I've done it once already.
Are you doing it
I'm a
for
reverend.
legal purposes? Are you doing it, Bonzi, so that you can like scam the government?
No, dude. It's something that some people said I would love to be married by you, and I went and got ordained, and then I married somebody
That is the most. Hang on. That is the most dumb. That is the most fucked up thing I've heard all day, and I've heard a lot of fucked up stuff today because you would not believe the DMs I get. But dude, that is fucked up that someone said, I want Bonzi to marry us. That would be, and then you're like, and then the fact that you did it.
I met this couple in Nicaragua, and they finally they knew they wanted me to marry them. Before they left, I was running boat charters. I was their captain.
I can see
and,
that.
They spent a great day with Bonzi, and they said, dude, we are getting married.
He's winning.
When
this
we
is right
do,
after an ayahuasca
you will be a Reverend Bonzi. And they came through. They just got engaged officially about 6 weeks ago, and they live in Vancouver Island in the north part, mid-northern part. And I will be their Reverend and MC, and I am emceeing their wedding as well. So I look forward to that in February.
Just so you know, hang on. Just so you know, I didn't listen to a word you just said, so I don't even want you to repeat it. And any of it wasn't paying attention, wasn't listening. I'm balls deep in this election right now, but I do want to get back to this. I do want to get back to this. We haven't finished.
Hi, ma'am.
Stop.
I don't have to tell you what I did, but I'm on a list.
You have to shave your head.
Yeah. Okay? So why don't you put up the shaved head and at least show people how handsome I am when I do?
Because this isn't a vanity play. I don't do that. Okay?
You just make fun of me. I know.
Of course.
So I'm here.
No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm helping you. The entire time I've known you.
How do you expect us not to make fun of you?
You live in a bus. Yeah. You live in a bus.
Yeah.
You paralyzed yourself with the vaccine. The only person I know. You wear glasses.
Bell's palsy.
You gave yourself Bell's palsy. The only person I know that gave themselves Bell's palsy and who shaves the entire first half of their head. Like, you're the only guy I know.
That's au naturel. I don't shave it. It's just doesn't grow, mister.
Wondering
why you look like the guy at Walmart that's hanging out in the kids aisle but never had kids, for like hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome into the show to please that nerd dad, Joseph Bernier, who is PPC. Right. He's wearing his PPC blue. He's out in beautiful Ajax. How are you today, Joseph? Nice to see you.
No one's ever said beautiful Ajax, just for the record.
No.
Hey, turn yourself up a bit, nerd dad.
Turn up your volume. We need more volume.
We need more volume. More. More? Crank it right up.
Hey, Lindley. Shh, I'm talking. Go ahead.
How's that? Better?
That's better. Let's do this again. That nerd dad, Joe Bernier, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Bernier, big PPC guy. Look at him. He likes Bernier. Wow. He likes Sky. He likes Jesus Christ. How are things out in Ajax this morning? By the way, I was there all weekend. Beautiful country.
It's fine. We have lake. We got the lake.
Yeah.
So many people come for the lake. They had to introduce parking passes for the lake.
No way.
Yeah. Totally obnoxious.
Against your freedoms?
Well, that's why I'm running. Okay. I'm running for the PPC.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
There's no way you're
right
running
now?
for the PPC.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm running for the PPC.
I talk to you. I talk to you every day. I know you're not running for the PPC, Joe.
No, I'm running for. Look, I'm drinking. I'm drinking milk because it's just we're the white party. I gotta have it's. I'm running for the PPC.
He's hanging on to it. I like how dedicated he is to the.
No, he is. Stay with it. Stay with it. Why the fuck are you running for the racist party, Joe?
Because there's nobody in Ajax currently running. So I'm the guy. I'm the default winner.
No racists in Ajax either.
You're the default winner?
Default winner. Okay, nobody else is running.
Nobody? Not one person. Nobody's running.
PPC representative at that nerd dad. It happened.
There you go. It was the tie. That was the votes.
Joe, can I ask you a question? You do a podcast here at DeanBlundell.com. It's That Nerd Dad. It's like a 7-minuter. You talk about kids stuff, but you talk about adult stuff. I know you're not running for the PPC, but for the sake of keeping it up, let's keep it up. Tell me something. In your lifetime, because I know you and I talk, did you ever think that a party that openly advocates for hateful assholes to come into the party to keep people of different color and ethnic persuasions out of the country. Do you ever think that you'd run for that party?
Yeah, I did. I did. So, look, it's all about opportunity within your lifetime, right? You got to seize these moments. And
life coach.
And the racists were an underserviced population. They're an underserviced demographic, and I don't mind being the guy to bring them forward.
Yeah,
and make it palatable. Look at me. Look how gentle I am. Look how nice I sound. Look at these blue eyes. Look at them. Right? I am a.
They are fucking blue.
I'm a palatable individual. So when you see me out there waving, shaking hands, you don't know I'm racist. So I bring it forward. I talk about our platform in very generic terms. We're going to do things for the economy.
Yeah.
We're going to support the people. I don't say which people. I'm going to support the people. Don't say which one. Okay. And bingo bango. Election mine. Money, please.
His ancestry.com is a straight fucking line.
Joe, I think you got this thing sewed up. Like, have you practiced your victory speech? Like, I know that, being palatable to racists is hard. So great job, because clearly you're white. So you got a leg up on everybody, right? You just got to look a little whiter. Is there anything that went into this outfit? Was it the Peaky Blinder that you're wearing? Was it the lavender that you wanted to connect people with, because that racists apparently like purple? Is that the deal?
Well, the purple, and actually, little known fact about this is the purple stems from the royal heritage. So the royals,
Crown Royal heritage.
The Crown Royals are very well known racists, probably the most well known racist, and that's why we've adopted the purple. Yeah. So we're just carrying on with our British ancestors here. Yeah, right. That's all we're doing.
Makes sense.
And then in terms of trying to make myself more palatable for the average white person, look, I listen to country music.
Smart.
I eat a lot of mayonnaise and sour cream. I don't season my food very well. I do things that I know the average white person can relate to.
Love. Yeah.
Get rid of the roots.
Yeah. I eat at Arby's all the time. Locke, I'm with you on that one, baby.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you drive a minivan?
I do.
Okay.
And I heard the joke about Civics earlier. It's a Honda.
Thank you.
This is a really unbelievable moment. Like, not often do you get an openly racist PPC candidate talking about what it takes to go out and get the racist vote without seeming overly racist.
It's subtlety. That's the key.
It is.
See, I think our current leader, Maxime, respectfully, maybe a little too aggressive. I think if he dialed it back a little bit, he'd be a little bit more palatable.
Instead of being so overtly appealing to total fucking racist, like you're saying, if he dialed it back and maybe a little nudge and a little wink or
more
something.
More code words.
Yeah. Like, what kind of code words appeal to a racist in waiting? Do you know?
Look, I'm a big believer in taking back our liberties, our freedom, taking it back.
Yes.
We don't say who we're taking it back from.
Yeah,
I know.
We're taking them back.
Yeah.
Also, I probably wouldn't have gone with the purple pastel shirt with all the floral print.
Be careful on that shirt.
Mine's very plain.
Yeah.
Again, palatable. It's all about that palate.
Yeah, that's right. Very smart. Interesting.
Here's
what
the other
movies?
thing.
What movies do you have to tell?
In. That's the other thing you got to say out loud.
Suck them in hard.
Yeah. How do you tell people as a PPC person, like what if someone came up to you and said, "Are you racist?" and they were white? Would you give that person a different answer than if a brown person said, "Hey, listen, are you racist?"
Yeah, like a code word.
Yeah, well, there are the code words, and there's the secret racist handshake, which I'm not going to divulge here. I don't want to let you people in on it. But the handshake, the wink, the nudge, that's a big one too. Also, during the current COVID times, simply asking about the vaccine is always a good choice. If you want to know if someone...
Right? Like, are you a vaxxer? Like, if you say, "Are you a vaxxer?" and they go anti, you're like racist.
Yeah.
But there's also the trick, though. It's also the denier and the refusal to answer, because people who are vaccinated are very proud of the fact that they're vaccinated. Look at me, I'm vaccinated. So they're always like, yeah, I'm double vaxxed. Of course I'm double vaxxed. I'm team Pfizer. I'm team this and that. A racist won't tell you. It's none of your business, Dean. I don't have to answer that question. It's none of your business.
Up until like 20 seconds ago, I thought you were Jagmeet Singh.
Up until now, I thought you were dead. I was like, is James okay?
If
eyes open.
I am about
brown face. I'd be Trudeau.
I'm about 2 bites away from successfully eating 6 grams of mushrooms in the last 10 minutes. Just to let you know.
This is
going to get interesting.
How do you eat it? With peanut butter?
Tonight I'm eating it with chocolate ice cream and peanut butter. Can't taste it.
Fascinating.
It's really
the last time he had that amount of mushrooms on a show, we had Rain Maida on this very program from Our Lady
How'd
Peace.
that go?
He got insulted him, and I kicked him off within the first 7 minutes. Actually, so this.
Yeah, but in my defense, I deserved it.
In my
you did.
defense.
Joe, ladies and gentlemen, is not racist. He's just joking around. He's not a PPC candidate. He's a great podcaster, and he talks about his kids and stuff like that. Have you just to go through this? You touched on all the stereotypes. None of them were wrong, by the way. Yeah, I
love
know,
the fact
right?
that we're playing jazz music underneath of it too. That was very conflicting for me.
Music.
Yeah.
It feels kind of porno-y to me, but yeah.
Jazz music. The music of the PPC.
Reminds me of his afternoon at Zeller's, the whitest of the Zellers.
Oh, yeah. Hey, baby, want to go to Zeller's?
Remember the Zeller's restaurant?
My way.
Yep.
My way.
If you talk about Zellers, you might be PPC.
Yeah.
See? We're learning a lot tonight. We're learning a lot tonight, guys.
I'm committed to the milk bit, by the way.
If you're unvaccinated, you're a racist, just so you know.
So I know he's drinking milk.
You can get milk at Zeller's at the restaurant.
All right. Guys,
So-
it's about to get real in the next half hour.
I know. I'm really excited. My hands are sweating just watching you eat that amount of mushrooms. So can I ask you a quick question, if we can? I don't want to give away
you get it all.
Yeah, I don't want to give away the update. Ryan Lindley, can you give us an update on where we stand in Election 44, ladies and gentlemen? An update from Election 44. What do you got?
If I could get my there we go. Looks like Liberals have got 25 elected seats. The Conservatives have 8. Bloc Québécois finally hit the board with 1. And everybody else is still shooting zeros at this point in time.
Oh.
But People's Party have 14,000 votes at this 14,530 as opposed to like a Liberal 146,000.
It's my team.
Yep.
Oh,
show your sign,
Canada.
Team PPC.
Wait! Stop! Hang on! Put that back up, Joe. Stop waving it though. I want everybody to get a really good look now that we've got you isolated here. Put it back over. We've got Maxime Bernier, Chris Sky, and Jesus Christ. Like that's the holy trinity right there for the PPC.
That's not Jesus. He's white. Jesus is.
Oh, that's
white.
true.
Jesus was white, James.
Jesus was white, James. How dare you assume
Have you
Jesus
ever
was
read
Hebrew?
That man that we don't even really know if he existed was totally European. You fucking.
Tell him that again in 40 minutes, Joe.
Oh, I plan to.
Oh,
when the
I'm gonna
shrooms
just bring
kick
it up
in,
every half
tell him that
hour
again,
that
and we'll see where
Jesus
it
was
goes.
white.
Okay, so actually, I saw Locke bring it out, and I had an idea, and I was going to bring it up the last time I was on the show, but this is kind of a perfect time. We need to bring Lachlan into Toronto with Karima and put him on the street with his mouth organ, and we can call him the pie-eyed
Bass
piper,
piano,
and he can face piano, and he can lead them with honky tonk face piano music right into the fucking bay, and we'll call him the pie-eyed piper.
Are we at the point of chaos on the evening where I play a little face piano?
Can you show us what you would,
Yes.
Can you show us what you would play to get people to follow you? the pie-eyed piper.
You know what I like about this so far too is that Lindley, who is like the cerebral part of the network, has already like made about 12 references to walking anti-vaxxers into the lake. That's awesome.
Like that kid that had acid that time and wandered into Lake Ontario. Benji,
exactly. No, I don't think that was his name. I don't know if it was acid either. But Karima's back, which is nice. She's just kind of hanging out. I don't know if you've enjoyed any of the shit that you've heard. Oh yeah, good. Well, thank you for being. And James P. White is back. Jimmy, how many beers? What's the count?
A few.
Hey,
Ladies and
tell
gentlemen,
the cilantro story.
A man of few words, but he's a beauty.
Do you want to do the face piano intermission and the cilantro story, or do you want to do the cilantro story and then the face piano? What do you want? Jimmy, go ahead.
I'm not telling the cilantro story. It didn't go well.
Tell the story.
Come on, Jimmy.
Tell the story.
Jimmy.
No, it was funny at the time.
Tell the story, Jimmy.
Now's the time.
Just tell the damn story.
I don't even. Actually, Locke's version of the story is actually funnier than my version.
Jimmy, need you to tell the story, Jimmy. Jimmy, the story, Jimmy. Go ahead.
I'll tell it if you're not.
Jimmy, that is storytelling music.
Okay, so go ahead. Jimmy's going to tell it. Lock on face piano. Jimmy with the cilantro story. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So the only thing is I don't remember how this story started, but I said I have a funny story about cilantro. So I do a lot of cooking in the crock pot. And I cooked my pot roast with cilantro. And I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
But my buddy went to his girlfriend and said, I didn't like dinner. Jimmy made his pot roast with cilantro. And my buddy's like, well, it's Jimmy. It makes sense. That's the story. It really isn't a story.
Your place for breaking comprehensive coverage of the 2020 election.
That's the worst story I ever heard in my fucking whole life.
Look at Joe.
Get to the point, Jimmy.
I know it had no point.
On a fucking regular basis. He'll like a story about cilantro, and we're like throw to him, and then he'll fucking tell that mess. And then I'm like, how do you recover from that? You can't. Like, you just wasted 3 minutes telling a story about how you use cilantro to cook a pot roast, and there was no beginning, there was no middle, there was no fucking end, nothing. It fucking went nowhere, and then I gotta fucking recover from that.
And this is coming from a guy that talks about 6 minutes about how deep his balls go into toilet water.
Listen, at least there's a point to that story. At least there's a point to that story.
God damn it, Jimmy. Jimmy, here's the problem. You're just incredible. You're too real for life. Like no one in their right mind would tell that story. No matter how bad people begged you to. I can't believe you told the story. I tried so hard to get you to not tell it if it was a bad story, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll tell it. You should have never have told it. No, I didn't. I didn't say that once.
Who cooks a pot roast with cilantro? Well, Jimmy does. What the fuck? Who tells that story? Nobody tells that story. That is not a story. It's not entertaining.
No.
It's a fucking mess. And that's my life.
It's the best story.
And you know what? I'll tell you right now.
And
I replay that cilantro story once a month on our show, and it's 5 minutes of just the most painful radio you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
And I replay it constantly. Why?
You know what? If it wasn't for the egging on, and if it wasn't for the face harmonica, the face piano, and if it wasn't for the story, Jimmy, we wouldn't be here having the great laugh. Like I think I peed a bit. No, seriously, I think I peed a little.
Why there's a bucket under your chair?
No, it's not why. There's a bucket under my chair. There's no bucket under my chair. I don't have a bucket.
Put him in the waiting room again.
You're time out.
Get him. Yeah. Thank you.
You know what that reminded me of, and actually it's great timing. It's like when Norm Macdonald would pull a story out, and it would be absolutely pointless. That's exactly what Jimmy has done. It's brilliant. That's
but the difference is, Ryan, Norm would be doing it on purpose for the sense of humor. Jimmy actually thinks he's contributing to the show, and he thinks he's moving the content forward. That's the issue.
Does he though? Does he really?
Anyway.
Yeah, so here's the thing: is that I know what Jimmy's doing. Jimmy came in. Okay, let's bring Jimmy back. We'll take you out of timeout for a second. So, Jimmy, here's the thing: you came in that morning on his morning show. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Locke's the king dick on the show, and so you came in and you're like, I haven't talked a lot this last week, so I'm going to tell a story about cilantro. And when you went into it, they're like, great, we trust you. You've been on the show a long time. He's going to deliver some content. Going to trust him. He's going to do it. Okay, I'm still talking. And then you go in and you tell this story. And the story sucks so much ass that Locke's sitting there going, I have nowhere to go. And when he said, I've got nowhere to go, what he meant was you told a story that wasn't a story. You just said a bunch of words, something about cilantro. There was no payoff. There was no rising action. Mm-hmm. There was no climbing. There was no denouement. There was none of it. It was just like, I put cilantro in a roast and you're ta-da, right? Like, and so here's
Who
the problem.
cooks a pot roast with cilantro?
There's the thing. Jimmy does, and that's your story.
Life.
So if you're going to tell that story, say, hey, what idiot put cilantro on a roast, right? I mean,
gotta get some
that's the end of the story.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
don't try to help him here.
Jimmy, go ahead. What were you going to say?
In my defense, I was actually really new to radio at that point.
He was only about 5 or 6 years in, so we got to give him a little bit of a fucking leeway here.
That was our first year as a
Jimmy,
show.
I called Jimmy the e-break of all fucking radio content.
Oh, the human rain delay. He's the human rain delay.
Yeah. Yes, we call it the emergency break. I have never worked with somebody that can stop a break quicker, and then you got to recover. And the best part about it is it's always something that you can't even, like, who tells a cilantro story? Like, and how am I going to say no to that? Like, we're in the middle of Bryan Adams' Run to You, and he goes, I got a cilantro story. And I'm like, I guess forget everything we had planned for the morning. We're doing Jimmy's cilantro story next.
And for the next 2 hours, you made fun of the cilantro story.
No way.
Yeah, because that's the only two things, Jimmy. A, because he wanted to, and it's a show. And the other thing is, B, the only way that was going to be made funny, the only way he was going to make you whole and make you not embarrassed was to embarrass you even more. You might have a hard time believing it, but it's true. Like, the only way for Lachlan to make good of what the mess that you created was to dig right in and embarrass you even more. That's fact.
Yeah.
Just
hearing that,
I did it for you, Jimmy.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and just so you know, it takes a real lot, it takes very little for me to get embarrassed.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing about Jimmy is that he's got massive humanity, like in humility, and you just can't embarrass the fucker. So, yeah.
It's still a good story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
It was a horrible execution.
Let's defend it again. Let's defend it.
It was a horrible.
Well, the nerd dad drinks milk.
Yeah, it wasn't a great story. It wasn't a great story.
It was horrible execution.
No, you can't defend the story or the execution.
It's still terrible.
This is coming from Bonzi, who's on his way to marry a couple he met
keep him on
at a nudist colony
because
last
you
month.
guys are leaving me alone.
Yeah,
I love
Bonzi.
Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy's in timeout now. It's Bonzi. You're on the clock. You're on the clock. Let's get back. Are you going to shave the skullet? Yes or no? And then we can get into politics because I can't leave it alone unless I get an answer. Yes or no? Are you going to shave that beauty?
Hi, ma'am. I'm not allowed to babysit your kids.
You'll find that for tomorrow night on 5 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Can I just point out?
Network.
Can I just point out that I am the genesis of this? When I went on Bonzi's podcast and started like just bodying him on his own podcast, just fucking. And then it was like, and then Bonzi goes like this: "Why don't we let the ladies decide?"
What?
And all the girls were like,
a couple of ladies admitted they wanted it with me if I shaved my head. A certain lovely lady who said she's sleeping with me. I still think it's probably a bot and it's a guy, but nonetheless, it still sounds good.
It was me.
It was Joe.
It was me.
Probably is. That's Joe's secret account.
Yeah.
Joe's name on Twitter is Leanne.
His burner account. Yeah. Oh, we didn't have to go.
You can't trust someone named Leanne. Bonzi.
Can you put put his picture up again?
I think so. Why
I'm not allowed to go anywhere near schools.
Hey, just so
I've worked at 3 different carnivals in the last 8 months.
Listen, not everybody hated this look, by the way.
Yeah.
Guaranteed that's a lie.
Listen, I'm not allowed to sell meth anymore.
Handsome dimples and blue eyes, though, isn't it?
Medication.
Can we just look at the positives?
Wait,
of that
go back
photo?
again. One more time, Dean.
Yeah, one more time. Look at those handsome
Dean
dimples.
Blundell once made a joke about that man and got fired for it.
That was low.
Yeah. James, you know what?
Have you got any Sudafed? They don't sell. They ran out at the shoppers.
Yeah, like Bonzi. Bonzi, can I just say this? Like that guy, if I see him walking down the street, if I see this guy walking down the street, I'm going to the other side, man. I'm just walking to the other side of the street. Or and the assumption is when I meet this guy that he wants some money.
Mm-hmm. Either that, doesn't it look like part of the California vibe where I'm living? Old and
Leanne made an appearance, by the way.
There's no way that guy has not said, "I'll suck your dick, man."
Listen, if I did sleep with a girl and was sleeping with a girl, I think the ladies enjoy rubbing their fingers through the locks and stuff.
That is not a thing. You need to stop.
Hey, listen, no offense,
I came to my
Bonzi.
high school to talk about the dangers of meth.
Bonzi, no offense. Okay? Bonzi, no offense. No offense. But I do have to tell you, if a lady loves running her hair through that fingers, she needs to take an Uber just to get to the fucking hair.
Yeah.
Because she has so much fungus on her fingertips that she just can't tell what she's fucking doing, you know?
They're already
You look like a guy who manages a car wash.
Thank you.
Poorly.
But I'm a man living his own dream. And
wait, even though that guy's a man, he still insists on being called the cafeteria lady.
I think I look pretty handsome. Look at those eyes. I mean, look.
Dude, we've already established you're a good-looking dude, but that hair is not helping. That is not helping.
Yeah, it's like you can take it down now. You can take it down, Chris. Yeah. The problem is, okay, James, hang on. The problem is this. No, hang on.
Just one more.
All right, go ahead,
okay.
mister.
I got one too.
He looks like Nick Nolte's nephew. Because remember the picture, the famous picture?
I think that is a compliment.
That's not bad. I thought we were going to get a fucked up shrooms one from you.
That was a fucked up shrooms one.
That was pretty good.
Wasn't great.
No,
and it was sort of Jimmy-esque. It was like the cilantro version of what you do. It was like, yeah, it was. It was like, that's Nick Nolte's nephew.
You really put cilantro on that pot roast, James.
Yeah. Bonzi, so you're going to shave it. Great. Thanks. Appreciate it. Because I listened when I saw you, when you released that picture the other day, I was like, fuck, I don't even know if I can work with this guy. I've never worked with a guy with a skullet before in my fucking life. It said more about me than it does about you.
But it's not about the skeleton, Dean. No. It's about this. And that's what you love. You don't care what. Why do you guys all care so much how the fuck I have my hair? Isn't it about what comes out of my mouth and the
look at that picture though. I like the green screen in the back. I mean, what was that decision? Like, how did that come to fruition?
Oh, that's why the hair looks like that. It's just green screen shit. Oh, you had us.
So it could really show up and just show the ladies. Because if you put up the other one that I posted the side by each, you would really see the grand difference if I showed it fully in the green screen. And then you see Bonzi in his own natural behind the bar in Nicaragua.
Yeah, no. You've met us, right? You've met us. Like, you're going to put a picture of that out, and you're going to do a side by side, and you expect us to show the other one? You're a fucking idiot. Honestly.
I know.
Yeah, dude.
I just should have.
You could literally get a full makeover, and I would never use any of those pictures for anything we do. I will use this for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you might
even if you shave it. Yeah,
that looks like something they show an art class and go, all right, we're starting with this. Now draw a cartoon, everybody. Yeah,
and then they end up with this.
Super.
That's how they do it.
It looks like it's in 1989.
The more you make
the
better it is.
You do well.
Those are microdosed eyes too, by the way.
Joe, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. That nerd dad. I'm talking still, Bonzi. Still talking. Here I am talking to Joe. I'm trying to sell Joe. Joe, there he is. He's got to go. Everybody, he got dressed up for this. He made some stuff for it.
Yeah,
arts and crafts and everything. And
can we give a round of applause to Joe
great
for his
podcast,
props?
ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, really well done.
Every time I'm on a podcast with Joe, he brings props.
Oh yeah, he's a king. Thanks, Joe.
He prepares.
That nerd dad on Twitter.
That's
that
what
nerd
sets
dad.
him apart from the rest of us. He fucking cares, and he brings props. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like the Gallagher of podcasting.
No,
the guy that
actually
smashed the watermelon.
Gallagher had a skullet, so unfortunately, Bonzi is like the Gallagher of podcasting.
It's like great value Gord Downey.
That guy has a monthly budget for the lipstick he smears all over his face.
James is all over it. Anyway, Bonzi, appreciate you. I got to let you go too.
I'm sorry, Bonzi.
Good.
I love you.
Welcome.
I do. I got to let you
love
go.
You. Enjoy.
Well, or you can stay. I don't really care, actually. Do you want to stay? Do you want him to stay? You want more Bonzi, less Bonzi? Because we got Abby coming in from the East Coast or the West Coast. She's in BC. What do we want? Do we want Bonzi on with? I think we're rolling the dice if we have Bonzi and Abby on at the same time.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I think we should
Put
go
him
with
in the
Abby.
fucking bathroom. Remember from Bronx Tale?
Let's let Abby tell us. Abby Simpson, ladies and gentlemen, from BC, British Columbia, joining us on our Super Election Show. Hi, Abby.
Hi.
Do you want Bonzi on when you're on, or does it creep you?
Me. I don't know enough about Bonzi. I would say sure.
That's a good stance. So he scared you. I'm scared.
Oh no.
That's him.
No, you guys scared me. He didn't scare me. I mean, that's yeah. I wouldn't say that in a crowded bar, but sorry, Bonzi.
Okay, just for my edification, is this a look that you're looking for in a partner? Yes or no?
You know what? I'm gonna go with no. It is not. But the amount of times I've ended up with a guy who looks something like that is a little bit why I'm single.
All right, I think I like Abby. All right,
I'm deep in the hair.
Abby is from British Columbia. She's been kind enough to join us. She's actually a poly major. Like, she's really, really smart. She writes about politics. She's an author. She's a feminist. She's part of DeanBlundell.com, and I think she's wonderful, very, very bright. And it's cool because her and James hated each other for a few months, and now they're copacetic because James is so medicated. He's a happier individual. Abby's a happier individual because James is medicated. Everybody's going to work out today. It's going to be wonderful.
Funny enough, but Abby was on the last time that I was on shrooms and got kicked off the show.
But hold on, but there's always a moment where the initial sort of interaction with James is maybe taken the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Based on how many chemicals he has in his system, and then you warm up to the fucker. Right?
Oh yeah, you love him. Yeah.
You know, I'm always down to talk to people who I don't agree with politically. It was just the nature of James's.
We get it.
A little bit personal, and so
no way.
I took a James break.
He takes things personally a little bit too.
I'm actually big on forgiveness and being adults and growing up. And so I think that that's like
all right. Well, you're on the wrong fucking podcast.
I agree, Abby. I forgive you. I do forgive you.
Everyone's moved on.
So yeah, you do. Of course you forgive me.
So Abby, let's get to the politics of the day. You and I shared some sharp tweets about Trudeau early on over the past year. I've also watched you, and I think we've all watched each other. We were just talking about who we fucking voted for, and we all you voted for him. I can't believe you voted for him. I voted for him too. You voted for that. I can't believe you voted for that party. I would never vote for that party. Have you? I'd love your takeaways of what you've watched over the past 40, 45 days as someone who is educated in the ways of politics, specifically in this country, and someone who's paid attention to it.
Well, I feel like obviously the fact that this was the election no one needed. Looks like hubris could be coming for the libs right now, which obviously hubris is the thing that destroys every political party every time they're in power.
I'm drinking a Bud Light. You're going to need to give me an explanation on hubris.
Ego.
Hubris is yeah.
Okay. Hubris.
A little that political ego that.
Can you dip a cracker in it?
That politicians and their parties are just sort of bigger and more above kind of the voting electorate, the peons, if you will, the votes that they need in order to then turn around and then feed their special interests. So I have just been, pretty much since the day the election was called, I've been fatigued by this. I have not had and obviously with talking with Dean, I have not had a single minute of feeling like the country's going in the wrong direction in the last year and a half with the pandemic. I have not had a single appetite for change of any sort. And I just feel like this election didn't need to happen, but the fact that it is now happening, it does look like the Liberals are maybe getting a little bit of what they didn't anticipate. And for me, as somebody who hates political parties, but hates no parties more than I hate socially conservative right-wing values, I look at kind of where we're sort of trending because of all of this, and I'm not thrilled. I'm sitting here going geez, as soon as I'm done with talking to you guys, I'm probably going to turn the results off and wake up in the morning and see what shit hit what fan. We'll see.
Yeah, but this is kind of the interesting part is that from our conversation specifically, you are a big and listen, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you seem to soften on the Liberals as the election kind of went on. And I found that interesting. It just was, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you softened on Trudeau, or you had more questions. It really seemed like, and that's why I was fascinated to talk to you about how you feel about this election, because you were very much a Trudeau supporter, but did some of that wane this time?
I got a theory. Can I mention a quick theory?
I'm not necessarily a Trudeau supporter. I look at a lot of the Trudeau backlash and the hatred, and I kind of see through that. Whereas people will say to me, oh, well, you're just deranged with your anti-Trump feelings and all of that kind of stuff. So the same way that people will say to me that I'm a deranged left-wing lunatic, I just would see the way that people would talk about Trudeau and how all of these things that people say about Trudeau, like the fact that he was a teacher and that was supposed to be a knock on him, but yet we literally need to support teachers and we don't respect teachers enough, and we should be funding public education so much more. And so when I would look at the things like, oh, he's just a teacher, I'm literally just a teacher is qualified to be the prime minister. And I don't know what you're talking about.
It was the drama part of the drama teacher phrase. I think people were more making fun of him because he taught drama. And I think he was a supply teacher, wasn't he?
I think he was a teacher. Regardless, he taught in middle schools here in Vancouver, middle schools, high schools. And to knock.
I think it's more that he's a douchebag.
I think is a sign of a much bigger problem, and the fact that people were using that as fodder to kick Trudeau was, to me, a sign of that same sort of like the derangement based on his name, or because the family name is obviously poison in certain parts of this country to this day. So I would point out what I felt was somewhat hypocritical. But I knew, like back in 2015, when the Liberals actually won a majority, I knew. I was like, okay, so they've promised to change first past the post, which I was a huge supporter of, because anything that we can get to a more effective democracy, anything we can do to get there is a huge.
He totally fucked you on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I knew the thing is I knew he was going to. I knew he was going to. That's the problem, is that I absolutely knew right from the day he won his majority that he was absolutely not going to do that. It was going to be the same shit, different pile. I don't trust, but the problem with the candidates that we had running this time, the parties that we have running this time, the ideas that were being thrown around, I don't support every single thing that the Liberals have done, will do, everything that Trudeau does and is. I don't support it all, but I looked at what else was there, and I didn't see us trending in necessarily a better direction. So I had no appetite for change. So I had no appetite for this election. It's just been very ever since. Someone said they had a serious question, and I think I cut off. Was it Lachlan? I'm sorry.
No.
He cut you off.
I came to your rescue because Lachlan tried to cut you off.
No, hold on. Hold on. There's, but hold on.
I'm like,
Abby, there's a perception that I am going to be a dick here. There's, based on numerous opportunities that I have had to not be a dick, and I've always been a dick, I'm not going to be a dick here. I have a very serious question for you, Abby.
Okay.
Based on where you stand right now, what you've seen happen in the last couple of weeks with how things have played out, and I want you to be honest with me, because I think you are a Liberal supporter that is typical of where a lot of Liberal supporters may have been before this election was called. The unintended consequences of him calling an election, did you foresee that? Would you, if somebody said, Abby, you decide whether or not to call an election right now, would you have decided to call an election and try to take yourself back to before the election was called?
No, not until like the World Health Organization had basically said, we're past this. I would, if I had been in.
And what was he doing? Where did this information come from, Abby? What happened?
They said they got polls, right? They said they got polling data and they had that information, and they thought that because, there was such a general feeling that they had done well during the pandemic, that they thought that would help and carry them over. And it's just,
isn't that greasy though? Like, isn't, and this is kind of why I couldn't get, this is why I couldn't get past it.
Ottawa today, who is not a flaming greaseball.
But that's what totally. I said exactly that. I said exactly that. Mm-hmm. I said no one is going to care about this, and people are. Like, I was wrong about that. At the beginning of this, I was saying this on this podcast. Nobody gives a shit about him calling this election right now. This is a news cycle. Boom, we're done. And it's hung on, though. People are angry about him calling this election. I was totally wrong about that.
Hey, guys.
And I'm not a Liberal.
Quick update. This is from Brett Grunlock. He says votes are rolling in for the PPC Seaman Soldier. He just saw Nikula Das on television, and he's doing well in his riding. So we could have, like, that Seaman Soldier, Seaman Retention Specialist, the general. We might have got him in. We might actually get him elected. Which, if that's the case, I don't know whether to apologize,
or
to laugh and go,
no.
Cheers.
We need to celebrate that. I might have a kegger on the weekend if he gets in.
Kareem is back, ladies and gentlemen. Kareem Assad. So here's a question. We talked about greasy, right? Like we're saying this is a greasy move to call an election, and you're right. I'm not, and what you're doing is kind of what I tried to stay away from, which is, you call someone greasy, and you're like, well, look at all the other greasers, and I'm like, yeah, they're all greasy. I mean, they're all fucking greasy to me.
They're all in the same pie. They're all the same pie.
To me, Trudeau wasn't. I didn't think he was as greasy, right? And now it's like, oh, he's just as greasy as everybody else. Like that's kind of where I'm sitting with, not just, thinking that, oh, fuck. And when he got in at first, it was like the great, young hope. He's going to come in and he cares about social things and he cares about people and, gay rights and pot and all the other stuff. It's like, great, good, fuck. Let's get some change. But do you and Abby and Karima, I would love to hear from both of you guys. Is the shine off the rose for him for either of you, or like have you either of you kind of figured him out? We'll start with Karima and then we'll go to Abby.
I don't know that I ever felt like particularly rosy, but ultimately this was about power. Like all Canadian politics are about power, and that's just an unfortunate byproduct or the way that the system is set up and designed. And it just, all of the leaders to varying degrees are just out of touch. And I'm not saying that kind of in the cliche way, but like it's rough out here. And I don't see how this election is improving things for anyone.
Abby, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. There was really no need for this. No one's fortunes are going to be improved except for possibly we'll have a minority CBC government by morning. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait for the mail-in ballots to be counted because apparently they're not being counted at all until tomorrow, and there's hundreds of thousands of them. So we'll see. But I need to clear up something about Trudeau as well. Like, first of all, he's an incredibly attractive man. There's never been any substance to him as a academic, intellectual. He had this sort of like hot lumberjack everyman vibe going, but and he still has that.
Where did you get the lumberjack thing? When did that come in?
The hair.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm sure he'd look fantastic in a black flannel shirt. I'm sure he would.
I don't ever remember lumberjack being part of the equation. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You should come to Alberta. I'll introduce you to some lumberjacks.
Real ones, yeah.
Okay.
But I think, does that not go to the kind of speak to the, and I know a little sensitive about the teacher thing, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, you brought up a great point. Teachers are professionals that take care of kids. Anybody can be the prime minister. He's a teacher to say, oh, he's just a teacher. But isn't this where the drama teacher portion kind of comes into play? Like, isn't that what he wanted everybody to see? Isn't that why it's so sickening watching him virtue signal his way across the country and take a knee at things and stuff like that?
The idea that I'm more sickened by watching him do it versus the other party leaders is that's because I mean, you guys were talking earlier about Jagmeet's viral videos on TikTok and everything, and that's him talking to his base, which will hopefully vote one day. This is even Aaron O'Toole has been working with image consultants trying to soften his image a little bit because he does have that like the shirt buttoned up all the way like past his neck kind of image, right? So image
I miss Fat O'Toole.
Is a huge thing when it comes to who people are going to vote for, whether they subconsciously or consciously acknowledge it, basically, or some,
Abby, can I say something? Let's take this out of politics, okay? I'm a radio guy, and I've been doing this a long time. I don't know the guy that invented radio, but I know the guy that invented fire. And the thing that I have picked up on
Marinucci or something.
I was gonna say, I was like Marconi and a cave.
Marinucci.
The thing about what I have learned about being in the public eye, I can literally I can listen to somebody or I can watch somebody for minutes and I can tell you if they're full of shit. I can see it. It oozes out of them. And the problem I have with politics today is there's no real people anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
I've lost this ability to have empathy for that other person, and I'm talking right across the board. This is not a partisan comment at all. I think O'Toole's an idiot. I like all of them. I watch them, and you can see through them. And Dean knows what I'm talking about because he's been doing this a long time.
if you want grease, like you can literally, the second someone starts telling you something about themselves and what they are capable of doing in no uncertain terms, you've lost me. I know you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit because the only thing we have are intentions or effort, right? Like that's it. The only thing we do is we put our intentions where the effort is and we go, okay, I'm going to go do my best. When someone tells me that they want all Canadians to wake up and look in the mirror and see a conservative, I want to go to that guy's house and drill him in the fucking nose. Just like it's instant anger. And it's not just him, right? It's Trudeau that did it, which is why I was attracted to Jagmeet. I was really not attracted to Jagmeet. I was attracted to what he was talking about and what he was saying, which is, hey, listen, I'm going to go and campaign in the hard parts of the country. I'm going to go to Cowessness. I'm going to go and stand with the people on those residential school grounds where they're doing, LIDAR and trying to find these beautiful young people who've been dead and were murdered for the last 20 years. Like he went there, right? And then he went to like housing units and said, we need more house. Like he went into those spots. Trudeau just got rocks thrown at him every time he stopped at different places, which I didn't condone, and it was ridiculous.
But we don't have any real people. I mean, we don't have any real people in politics anymore.
I got the anger behind that, which is what I'm saying. Like, I got the anger behind it because I got angry watching him through this election kind of glad hand and not show up to things and the way that Aaron O'Toole really curated this image, which you said, Ab, and I thought that was fucking fantastic. Like everybody works with an image person. This is all they wanted us to see. These aren't the real them. These aren't the real people. I think the closest we got to it was Jagmeet, and I didn't pay attention to anybody else. Like I paid attention to the three. And I was like, listen, are you going to give me authenticity or are you going to give me more bullshit? Because the only person that was authentic, remotely authentic, which is where I had to put my vote, was in Jagmeet Singh, who I am firmly of the opinion, if he became the prime minister tomorrow, he'd show up with a fucking briefcase full of figurines and orange slices and crayons. Like, I don't think he's prepared to lead at all. I really don't. But that didn't matter to me. I just needed to put my vote where my virtues were, right? And I think that when we look at, sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say the only time that, and I agree with you 100%. You're right. I think what we saw was him, like his real persona, and it just doesn't fit as a federal leader. The one time that I saw a breakthrough with, and like I say, I can't stand him normally, and even though I voted for the guy, is Justin Trudeau, was remember when that rally in Bolton got fucked up, and he ended up doing that emergency press conference from a park. And he talked like a real guy without a teleprompter. Yeah. That guy, if he showed up at every single event and spoke the way he spoke that day, he would have been. That guy would have
won. He'd be a landslide.
Yeah, 338 seats he'd get.
We would not be having this fucking conversation if he kept that. He'd lose these fucking image people. Lose if he was a real, because he is a real guy. When he responded to that guy that shouted the shit about his wife, and he turned around and he said, aren't you supposed to be like blocking a hospital or something?
Yeah, I get behind that.
Oh my god.
Really? Like that's the person I want to see. That's who I voted for. I'll vote for that guy. I won't vote for, like you guys keep saying, drama teacher Trudeau, but I'll vote for Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. Great point. It's a great point. It's a fantastic point. I can't
even watch these people talk anymore. They make me so angry.
No.
Like they're just so not real, and you can just it just oozes out of them. And
it's like cheap cologne. It's like being in a room of cheap cologne constantly.
I got a lot of that.
At least three of them are like legacy politicians, though, right? So I think that speaks to your point, Locke, that like it's not real people. It's because this is like the family business, and I think that that's kind of problematic, that we have these various barriers, including political parties themselves, that prevent actual people from running.
Yeah. Ryan, can we get a quick update? And then I want to get to the media too, because I find it very difficult to believe anybody that gets paid to do non-biased news at a news organization or a newspaper that endorses a candidate. So I want to talk about that and all the podunk news organizations that aren't really news at all, by the way. But Ryan, can we get an update on election 2021, super duper election? Go.
We brought it up earlier, and somebody in the comments said that our boy Nakula Das was running away with it. But I'll give you an update on Nakula's riding. Wayne Long has been elected. He's the Liberal candidate there.
Damn it!
With 45% of the vote.
Look at Karima's like, oh, that's a shame.
Mel Morton is the Conservative. He came in second with 33%. Don Paulin with 14% from the NDP. Nicholas Pereira came in with a whopping 533 votes and 5% of the electorate.
Oh, he did choke.
He did. He didn't. Hold your breath, everybody. Hold your breath.
Okay, but where are we at nationally? Yeah.
National totals that we have. National totals we have so far. Liberals are at 36 seats. The Conservatives are at 13. Bloc Québécois coming in with 4. New Democratic Party has 1. Green Party has 1. Our PPC has 0.
Just wait till we get to Manitoba, though.
Yeah, we'll see that jump up, I'm sure.
I wonder. I do wonder. Like, I wonder when Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC start coming in around 2 o'clock in the morning when the whole thing's over and it doesn't matter anyway. I wonder if they'll get some seats. James, I really do. Because I think you said something earlier that kind of was like, maybe he's right. That there's, for all the crazy assholes that show up to these events and, like, stand there with their one tooth going, fuck this, and all that other stuff. There's, like, probably about 5 or 6 more at home going, yeah, we're probably going to spoil it and vote PPC because, like, fuck, we hate everybody.
People want to light it on fire, man. We're at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there was a time when he first got elected, when Trudeau first got elected, when it was like the country, you could feel it shift in that direction and sort of more progressive and all that. And just the way the pendulum has come back in the form of, like, that fringe of the fringe, Chris Sky rally kind of people. I don't know. I think I going into the election, I was like, well, they'll get some, like, they'll nibble here and there and they won't get any seats. That's what I thought. And now I think they might get 1 or 2. But I don't really know. I haven't looked under the hood in individual ridings to see, like, what those polling numbers are. But I mean, he has, like, roughly 8 to 10%, depending on which polling company you believe. And 8 to 10% usually translates into a couple of seats. Like, again, the Green Party, best they ever did was 6.5% or something of the popular vote. So I don't know, again, if it will translate into seats or not. I think it will. I think 1 or 2. Funny enough, I don't think Bernier will win his riding. And I think it's good in a way that you have a light that's shining on sort of like this, not because they're dangerous or whatever, but because, okay, there you are, libertarians and, anti-vaxxers and, hardcore free market analysts. And, like, there's a variety of them, right? They're not just like the one prototype. And I think that it's interesting, at least, that, we get to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, the PPC are like the one thing in this election that I'm like, I hate the whole thing. I hate the fact that we actually had to vote, but they entertain me. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, fuck, I'm fascinated by how crazy these people are, number one. And number two, that there's a political market for crazy and a political market for hatred.
We got to be careful there, though.
That's what I'm saying. But what I disagree with that, right? Because what I'm saying is that there's 20% that are crazy, and focusing on them is fine. Like, I don't care. But the other 80% that aren't crazy, some of them might be mean, some of them might be crafty, some of them might be really nice, and just really like free speech.
Yeah, but wouldn't all the stuff that they've seen the PPC people doing out there and like representing that group by acting like fucking hooligans and like nut jobs and like throwing shit, like wouldn't that 20% go, hey, listen, I probably, like, I don't want to be telling my friends I'm voting for these guys, like, because of those people, right? Like,
No,
wouldn't that,
I think they
to
are
me,
the
it would be like, fuck, I'm out.
I think they are the 20%, and I don't think that, like, the fringe of the fringe are the people that go to the rallies. I don't think that makes up a majority at all of PPC voters. And so then you're stuck with, okay, well, then why are they voting for them? I don't really buy the idea that, like, if fans of Maxime Bernier do a bunch of racist shit, but Maxime Bernier doesn't, then you can't vote for Maxime Bernier's party. Like, I don't really, I understand what dog whistling is. I'm not saying he's innocent of, like, sending signals or whatever, but I think that's a far cry for, like, he's trying to fucking pimp himself onto their votes. He just cares about their votes. He doesn't care about them, right?
Well, at the beginning of the election,
he's willing to do that for their votes, and like is fanning the flames of, I think, some really dangerous rhetoric, like the sheer number of swastikas that I saw on the streets of Toronto this past Saturday. Yeah. Whether or not there's sort of some pseudo commentary about our government is treating us like the Nazis, like that's what they're going to say. But there were a lot of people just unabashedly walking around with swastikas. And I think that the fact that he hasn't denounced that is highly problematic, and he hasn't denounced it because he doesn't care. Like, I don't think
but he has denounced it in the past, like many, many times. So I think a politician once in a while, we talked about this with Mike Lake, that conservative from Edmonton, I think. And when he was saying, like sometimes politicians have to like do things that they don't want to do. Sometimes they have to placate to people that they don't want to placate to. But I think that the Nazi, the swastika, I don't know. I don't really know how to draw a line from those people that you saw with swastika tattoos to Maxime Bernier's feet.
Well, they were also holding PPC signs or like wearing PPC shirts. The PPC shirt has a yellow star embroidered on the sleeve. At least one of them does, because I got that on camera. So it's not that this is happening around him and he's an innocent victim to this rhetoric of people who he happens to attract. He is, I think, deliberately going after them. And we don't know what the end result is going to be. I
don't know.
I don't think. Let me just kind of butt in.
I don't think he has. Yeah, I just want to say really quickly, I don't think he has strategy sessions. Like, how can we court the racist voter in Eastern Edmonton? How do we do that again? Where are those numbers, Cheryl?
If it comes naturally to him, that's even worse.
Yeah.
No,
Abby,
I don't think
I want to hear what Abby wants.
He's not. I was not going to call them the racist voter. He's going to, define them by other demographics, and if they happen to be racist, he's just not going to take any responsibility for that. But if he has to use racist rhetoric in order to get them, he's going to say, well, you're hearing it wrong. You're hearing what you want to hear.
Well, what did he say?
That's your dog whistle. But one of the things that I'm curious about with the PPC this time around is, are they temporary, momentary? Because obviously the party grew not from an ideology. There was no ideology attached to the PPC when they started. The PPC when they started was Maxime Bernier's pity party because the CPC wouldn't give him the crown. So what the PPC has done in the last few years is feel the temperature of these anti-government
extremists.
Extremists. They felt the temperature and they've given them what they want to hear. And so I am wondering if it is like, because I don't believe that. I think that, Bernier says he hasn't been vaccinated and everything, and that's probably true because you have to prove it. But would he have been vaccinated if he was the leader of the CPC? Probably. I look at it and I think, like, have we seen this show already? Have we we think back to the 80s and 90s, how the Reform Party started as kind of a nothing party in the West, and it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew on the strength of Preston Manning and just growing anti-establishment sentiment with the Liberals and the PCs of the day. And then, so what happened was that the only way conservative voters could have a voice in Ottawa was if they merged that party, right? So are we now seeing just a natural sort of like, are they going to come back together again? And I think that the interesting thing to watch is the different status of the NDP party now versus then.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting to see whether it is just a temperature thing based on what's going on in the world right now, or if it is a legitimate political party.
Dean, I have something to say.
That's a great question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I need to get this out. I think one of the bigger issues, Abby, is where the rest of the population, where they position these extremist views, and how they're sort of gauging the temperature of what we're going through. And I'll give you an example. I know you don't know me very well, but I think that most people that know me fairly well view me as maybe somebody that's a little left of center, but not completely unreasonable. And I did the voter compass on the CBC website more out of curiosity than anything. And I got told to vote PPC.
Okay, and that's because they're seizing all of these because you're an anti-establishment guy.
Yeah, so exactly. That's the point I'm making. I'm not going to fucking rallies. I am not that far right.
The complete and total irony of an anti-establishment party running to run the establishment is just like, people are like, they'll change it, and I'm literally like, good luck with you. Like, good luck with that thought.
And I get that, Abby. But the point is that the problem with what we're dealing with and where this is all being positioned is that the establishment has this extreme view of where we're at, to the point where they're putting a fairly reasonable, middle of the road, politically minded guy based on their metrics. They're putting him, no, you need to fucking vote PPC. And that's the disconnect we have in this country right now. And that's what I'm concerned about with where we're at. I'm not concerned about PPC getting in and running things and taking over. I'm concerned about the lack of understanding of how fucking mad people are, to the point where I got to go on a CBC website to be told that I'm a PPC voter, right? Like that's a problem in my mind. That's a disconnect. And that sums up where we're at politically in this country right now, where people are like
everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's not just Canada. It's everywhere. And we're in trouble. We got to figure that out, because you threw me way the fuck over here. You threw me over here voting with the Seaman Retention Warriors. And I just want a fucking party that's going to give me some representation in the middle. That's all I'm asking for. Right.
So I have a question, and it kind of goes back to what Abby was saying. Abby Simpson joins us, and as does everybody who's here, because we're here, right? So you can see us. Here we are. Okay, guys, look at us. But I want to ask you a question. You said something really important about how long will the PPC be around. I don't think they're around if COVID isn't here. So I think the PPC lasts as long as these vaccine mandates last, and as long as they can take advantage of this public health emergency. Am I wrong? Do you think I'm because outside of that, they're
knowing what's coming is the only thing, because what we've seen is that, like I said, it started as his vanity party because he was so upset that he didn't get this.
Oh, and he was so close to winning too, wasn't he?
He did get robbed. You should maybe point that out.
So regardless, who the hell cares if he got robbed? It's like internal party politics. It's always bullshit. So regardless, he started the PPC because he was like, I'm going to stick it to this party that screwed me and my political aspirations, and I've worked for this party all my life. And so they were a joke of a party. They didn't have a platform. They didn't have like really anything going for them that was making mainstream traction whatsoever until the vaccine passports and the mandates. And they went on the anti-government side of that. And that's pretty much been their entire campaign. Like I haven't been paying close attention to the PPC. I'm going to be perfect.
That has been their whole campaign. However, Karima, what do they talk about when you go to these rallies?
It all comes down to, as I've heard it described, the cult of individualism. And sort of the freedoms and the freedom from obligations to one another is really their main talking point. So they absolutely capitalized on the pandemic. And I think where they go from here kind of depends on, obviously, on what happens next, but also, yeah, I think that they have gained a lot of traction and steam, and not to be bleak about things, but we're going to start having some climate-related emergencies. Like, we're on track for other types of social disaster over the next few decades. So, if that state of things doesn't improve, can they continue to grow? Absolutely. Because that discontent and that outrage and anger and fear is what they thrive on. And if I may, I think that, it's Bernier's party, obviously. But I think it's also held back a little bit by some of the racism within the supporters and, potential supporters. And when he was giving his speech, like, Randy Hillier looked deeply uncomfortable. And I don't think it's because of what he was saying. I think he was like, oh, this guy has an accent. Maybe I'm wrong. But, I think that where they go from here, if they continue to capitalize, we should be very mindful of it and keep an eye, because I find it personally a little bit scary.
Yeah, and you see it all the time.
I think one reason they're growing is because Maxime Bernier is during normal times is not very controversial. You'd be hard pressed probably to point to something that he said that was racist. He may have said things like, I want to cap immigration at 250,000, and I also want to make sure that more highly skilled and educated immigrants are going to come in. I think that we're missing the point here a little bit, is that, first of all, it's not that scary because he's a patchwork of a whole bunch of different people that have a whole bunch of different views. And some of those people are progressives who just believe in the Berkeley classic version of free speech kind of thing. And I think that we should take a look in the sense that how can we work with them instead of just villainizing them, and see how we can
more fun to villainize them though.
Yeah.
I don't know. James, did you know that there's a defamation suit against Maxime Bernier for uttering a racist slur about Jagmeet Singh? So he sued The Sun for reporting it.
You
said he never said anything racist.
What's the quote? What's the quote?
It's Kinsella. It's the Kinsella suit. It's the Kinsella suit.
Oh,
right. He called Jagmeet's turban a rag or something to that effect.
Oh, well, Warren Kinsella.
He has made anti headgear statements as a Quebec politician in the past. That is
more than once, hasn't he? I mean,
several.
But he's not a firebrand. He's not known for that. So, anyways, all I'm trying to say is that
he doesn't have to be, though, James. He doesn't have to be.
He's known for being a racist.
I've known that about him for a very long time.
Yeah.
Donald Trump didn't go out and openly call black people bad words and Mexican, he said Mexicans. He never said anything openly racist. He said the exact same thing. I want to control the borders. I want to do this. What he does is he, like you say, it's a dog whistle, and it gets them fired up. And hey, whatever they're doing, that's up to them. I'm just saying we should, he's trying to sell it like you're trying to sell it. I don't think he knows exactly what he's doing.
I know, but I try my best not to impugn another individual's motivations unless I know what their motivations are. So
you're right. You're right.
But hold on, what could sound like political opportunism?
He's a racist dick.
I don't know if he's a racist dick. Maybe he's dog whistling. And he's not a racist.
He is.
I don't know.
If it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck.
I think
probably a dick.
On the head, and Kareem has been seeing it on like every day when she's out there.
I just want to know what he said.
He's born this thing, and now it's just let it snowball, and it's going to keep snowballing. And what it's done, it's given license to these people that have been closeted away in their little hovels with their shitty backwards views.
I don't know if we can blame Maxime Bernier for that, though, entirely, though.
No.
I think that a lot of the blame needs to be held. I think the left and that severe left needs to be held accountable for a lot of
Both
what we're dealing
sides.
with. Not a lot. Maybe a lot isn't the right.
May I?
Dean?
May I
it's your
pop
show?
in?
You
no,
should.
It's not. It's ours.
Are we holding the left accountable for existing? Is that like and having opinions that are different? That's just my one question. Because I would hold accountable the news outlets like Rebel that made us the boogeyman, if you will.
Bring that graphic up, Dean. Bring that graphic up.
I don't know about that, Abby.
By the way,
I'm curious. I'm asking. I'm not accusing. I sound accusatory.
Well, no, I think what happens is in a lot of cases. Excuse me. In a lot of cases, we feel like we have to say, just a caveat to kind of meet people halfway. We're like, yeah, the left does it too, or yeah, we do it too. Listen, let me just insert my 2 cents in regards to what Maxime Bernier is or isn't. Do I have firsthand knowledge of him being racist? No. However, if someone was coming to my political rallies with a sign that filled with swastikas and patches, I'd be like, hey guys, cut it out. Everybody, cut it the fuck out. He hasn't said it once, not fucking once. And on top of it, the reason why he hasn't said it once is because he doesn't want to turn those people off. If you promote it, if you permit it, you promote it. Therefore, it is safe to say the PPC party is unabashedly taking in racist. Are they a racist party? By design, probably not. Are they by proxy? I would say probably they are. But I can say this, I cannot tell you if Maxime Bernier is himself deeply racist, a closeted or upfront racist, but every tenant in that party, and I got it right here, every tenant in this party, this guy threw this at me through the door and ran away because he knew who I was. It was fucking hilarious. Every person in this party, every single person believes in the main tenets of this whole thing, and the main tenets of this whole thing is divide, 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 divide. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That's all this party says to me. It's the giant fuck you party and freedom of obligation party. And here's the catch. This is really the catch.
Why are they so big?
They tell everybody, well, because they're enabling people, to Ryan's point, they're enabling people to come out of the fucking woodwork and leave their fucking holes in the ground and come out and go, yeah, fuck immigration. It was so unpopular to say, well, and they might be, but they're there, right?
No, it's
everybody comes out and goes, I can get behind that guy because my neighbor says that's the guy that wants to keep Canada. That's all they fucking hear, right? So they go, yeah, I'm in. That's the guy I'm going to vote for. And so these people come out and they go, and they're all white people from the prairies. Like, that's all they are, or people from rural areas who haven't fucking seen human beings for a long time, who are like, fuck them. They never come around. Alberta, like not one PM candidate has even stopped into Alberta to say, how you doing? Nice to see you. They don't give a shit about you guys. So it's really easy to understand the disenfranchisement. But when someone is actually referring the rhetoric, who is saying, hey, I'm a party, come here, everybody's coming, man. That's what they are. That's what he is. Yeah. He engages that.
That could totally be right. I was just looking for quotes, but like, listen, he's libertarian, in other words, then, right?
Yeah. He's a racist.
It's like, who cares what's in his heart? Like, if the impact of his action, like, I don't care what's in his heart. And like, the way that we talk about racism and
if you're standing in front of a fucking group of people, I'm sorry, Karima. If you're standing in front of a group of people, and the point is to, I don't know, propagate some sort of message or get people on your side, and you look into the audience and you see somebody with a fucking swastika fucking sign, that you stop right there and go,
get him out.
That's not what this is.
I agree with
that. Fuck off.
For sure.
And if you
100%.
don't do that, then you're encouraging it, then you're inviting it, then you're complicit in it, and that's where the buck stops. And the fact that and if somebody has a problem with being tagged racist because they allow it, that's on them. Mm-hmm. That's on that individual. Because every single one of us, if we were the head of a party or trying to create some sort of a movement, if any of us saw that symbol in the crowd, we would fucking stop what we're doing and we would condemn it immediately. Get the
I would
fuck
drag
outta
that
here.
person outside the fairgrounds and beat the living
it's
shit
not
out of them and say,
happening.
this never happened.
Right out of the truck derby that they're all at.
Whack. Yeah.
Listen,
yeah, seriously.
let's not
And he's
get
done
too
none of it.
fucking, like, truck
He's
derbies
done
are
none of it.
okay.
Okay, so it's almost
I
10
didn't know.
o'clock.
I didn't know any of that stuff. So yeah, he should have totally spoke out about it. I didn't know that there was that ominous presence of that shit at the rally. I didn't know.
Karima's had it seared into her brain.
Evident. It's quite evident. You see it. You see it on TV, James, when you see these rallies.
I don't
need
turn
an
on my
update.
television. I just didn't see it, guys. That's all. Like something
You're not
slipped
watching
through the crack,
TV. He
and
is
I
not.
didn't-
Literally, I'll defend James on that front. Like,
Yeah,
if
he
you
doesn't have
see
TV.
these rallies, James, it's fucking front and center.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I know they exist. I just never saw it. Yeah.
Lindley, can I get an update, please? Where are we at with election 2021? Ryan Lindley, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan, go ahead.
7.5% of the polls are reported, and we've got 78 seats for the Liberals, 38 for the Conservative, 14 for the New Democratic Party, 13 for Bloc Québécois, 1 for the Green, and a big whopping 0 for the People's Party.
I don't even have to worry about them. Look, we spent all this time talking about PPC, and they won jack shit.
Again, we haven't.
That's
we
the
haven't
thing,
hit-
though.
We haven't even
The
hit
fact that we
10% of
spend
the
this
polls,
much
though.
energy talking about it, though, Dean, that needs to be brought up. Like, I mean, that's the issue that I have with it, is that it's front and center based on where we're at, and we can sit here and toss around, explanations as to where we're at. I think everybody needs to sit back and take stock of where we're at right now. Everybody, no matter where you sit politically, I think you need to take stock of how things are playing out right now and your contribution to that, whether you're a liberal, somebody that sits in the fucking middle, or you're in the far right. Man, we're in trouble. And not only that, why do we keep putting fucking idiots in front of us to represent us? Like, that's the other
only
issue
idiots
I have.
run for office.
Who wants to do the fucking job? You're right, Adam.
Sorry.
Who wants the
Like,
fucking job?
I'm sure, and I believe fully that people get into politics naively thinking that they will be able to impact change from the inside. And I believe that they find out within their first term that is a joke. And those who stay in
Are the narcissists.
oh yeah, totally. I don't believe
It's an ego trip.
you can run for office on a federal scale. And
Can I give you guys
a little bit of a narcissist, because you're putting yourself up for a lot.
Yeah. I will give you an example of that. As I know 2 MPs, federal MPs. Both of them hate their jobs. Fucking hate their jobs. Hate the party they work for. Hate the idea of politics. Hate going into fucking session. Hate it. They hate everything about it. Decided to get into it because they both were basically unemployable in real life.
Sounds like a radio career.
Is this where we get our leaks from, Dean?
No, but here's the thing: is that I sent this guy a quick note, and I'm like, if you hate it that much, why are you running again? Like, all you've done is
awesome.
You know what he said to me? He's like, dude, this is the Emerald fucking City. Mm-hmm. I'm here for the stuff. Mm-hmm. This is a member of parliament. This is a federal MP.
Literally, and you look at somebody like Stephen Harper, who started in the mailroom at the CPC and had no other jobs except working for the CPC his entire career. And when he left office, he had like a net worth of millions of dollars. And how do you have a net worth of millions of dollars when all you've done all your life is work for a political party? Oh, right, because politics are corrupt and full of money. That's how.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No, you bring up a great point. It's a fucking great point. Sorry, Ryan, what were you going to say?
No, she nailed it on the head. I've worked in all 3 levels of government in this province, and it's rampant. It's rampant. Not everybody is, but it is. It's everywhere. It's to be seen everywhere, and it's the most worst kept secret there is that we have. And elections like this are really starting to pull that dirty bed sheet back a bit, and I think more people that are a little more not as politically well versed are starting to finally see it, and that in the same sense turns people around into like getting drawn into places like the PPC, thinking that it's a grassroots, I'm just an everyday Joe, everything's gonna be fine. maybe with the right intentions, but not seeing the dirty underbelly of that party. And I think that's why they're gaining a lot of steam with people that probably aren't racist, probably aren't assholes, and they just like the idea of, well, these are fucking normal guys. Look at, imagine seeing Randy Hilliard chugging a fucking beer and smoking a dart. He's like, that's my guy. I fucking love that guy, you know?
Without realizing that Maxime Bernier was like one of the longest serving CPC.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But he's like, he comes across.
He's been in politics that long. Like they don't even see the irony that they're asking for this from the most establishment guy who just wants back inside the Emerald City. All he wants is to get back there.
That's it. They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that. Speaking of which,
it's refreshing though. Just I'd like to point this out that even from the right and the left, we're all disenfranchised, right? Like we all have this sort of opinion that that this system
brought us all together. It's brought us all together tonight. We got 6, 7, 10 people from 6, 7, 10 different backgrounds that are all agree. Like, fuck, this is ridiculous now. We're starting to get tired of it. Speaking of ridiculous, let's keep an eye on media. And I say this all the time because I was in it. Let me explain to you how these elections work when you work for a big media company. What they do is whoever the president or the controlling interest of that company is going to vote for, whatever the party is, they agree to help that party. And then from there, they then filter down the wish for everybody within that company. With me, it was Chorus, to support said candidate, whoever the candidate is, if it's conservative or liberal, doesn't matter. And you got to stay on side. Now, keep in mind, this media company that I worked for actually had some news interests, and the news stations all fucking endorsed certain candidates. And I started thinking about it recently because I was so fucking angry at the process, and I've been not angry at mainstream media because they're just a joke. I mean, it is absolutely criminal, specifically in this country, how Bell, Rogers don't just control the narrative, control what you don't see, what you don't hear, but the favors that they do for political parties according to the interests they have in those political parties. Case in point, let me just put this up. You sent this to us today, Ryan. Appreciate it. These are all the newspapers across the country that have thrown their support behind. These are newspapers parading as news outlets. News.
Does anybody
look at all those identical logos?
One company.
Too.
It's like one company.
Exactly. Well,
Post Media, correct? That's all Post Media.
Is that all Post Media? It looks
almost
like,
all of it is. I think
that is all.
I've never heard of the North Bay Nugget. So
no, you're not alone. These fucking idiots.
Does
from these
read a newspaper now? Like
Edmonton Journal's on there, Locke. Edmonton
online.
Journal's on there.
All online.
I haven't bought a newspaper
These-
since 1997.
These people, and I'll explain to you how this works, right? So they operate in silos. All of these people, because Post Media is extremely conservative, very, very close with numerous groups, including a guy named Waleed Solomon, who I know well, not well, but enough. He was like the right-hand guy to Aaron O'Toole. Not just Waleed Solomon, Aaron O'Toole, and then there's a guy from Canada Proud. His name is Jeff Ballingall, and Post Media. He's also helping all of these guys work together. The Sun, Brian Lilly, who works at the Sun, who's banging Doug Ford's press secretary right now. It is these guys are so fucking tight with each other from previous endeavors like Rebel, of which the current guy that wants to be the prime minister has given several interviews to Rebel News, which has been widely debunked as just a piece of shit flamethrower trying to sow division and bullshit. But if my point is this, these are newspapers. These are news outlets. If a news outlet that you read endorses a political candidate, they are not a news outlet. They are an agent on behalf of a political organization. That's who endorses political people, are agencies. And these agencies want you to have agency too. Another thing that you sent to us, thank Ryan, Canadian newspaper endorsements in the last 5 elections. We'll post this up here. But this has been my fucking problem. And it's been my problem the entire election. It's been my problem for years, is that I am by nature apolitical because I am embarrassed to be associated with any of those cocks. Like absolutely embarrassed the way they carry on. So I haven't, and if you read any of the stuff we do, rarely do I mention party, rarely do I mention political leanings, left, right, only to make fun of them. I talk about the people involved, and I have for a long time. If you go back and look at our stuff, or if you listen to any of this, you know that is true. I get after the person, I get after the virtue, lack of character, or character flaws therein of the individual as I see them not being authentic and telling the truth. That is how media works. They are not news outlets if they endorse a political candidate. And listen, Bell is heavily invested in Trudeau's campaign. Heavily. Rogers, heavily invested in Trudeau's campaign. Post Media, heavily invested in Aaron O'Toole's campaign. Heavily invested means that they are not allowed to tell you anything about anybody that they have not helped because they're lying. They're lying. You can't get news from a fucking outlet like that. You cannot serve two fucking masters. You can't. I don't know how the fuck you do it. I don't know how any of the people that write for any of those fucking newspapers, and sorry, I know this was supposed to be fun and I'm getting serious, but I'll have fun in a second. I don't know how anybody that works at any fucking news outlet can actually put their fucking head on a pillow at night and go, I did a good job today. No, you didn't. You served your fucking paycheck today and said it was non-bias. That's what you did. You served your paycheck because you're cowards. And I know there are a lot of wonderful people that are actually in media, but if you work for one of those, you cannot be believed. It doesn't matter what you write. When you talk about anything to do with any of these people, and not just these people, like if your boss is saying, go, don't vote for that fucking guy, vote for this guy, and you're supposed to be a news outlet and you write anything to do with anybody, you're instantly persona non grata. Instantly. Because news outlets do not and cannot. And I'm not a fucking news outlet. Like, we're a blog. I would say we should be as biased as fucking anything, but we can't be because it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense that someone who says, hey, we're news, decides to support any political candidate at any point in time ever.
I'll have you know we're the #2 daily news podcast in the country, Dean. Okay.
Which I love because we spend a good portion of the week talking about my balls. Okay, I have something to add to that, though. I will ask this.
That was a great speech, by the way.
Have we ever had
I agreed with
an unbiased representation of politics on any platform?
No.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Dean.
CPAC, the channel that just runs live.
Yeah. As long as camera. You're right. As long as there's not a talking head, as long as there's not a talking head attached to it, then it's fact.
I mean, if you want to know
camera
what's
has
really
a liberal bias
going on in Ottawa, you just got to watch Channel 71.
10 pounds, Gene.
I can't. I can't watch that shit.
But
that camera only
thing
makes liberals look fat.
It's a fucking communist, that camera, I'll tell you what.
Over the years, I think we've lost this ability to negotiate what's right and wrong. And like, I don't know. There seems to be, I think there needs to be a certain amount of we need to throw it back at the listener a little bit, the viewer, the subscriber. You need to be responsible for what you're viewing.
Yeah. We're on our own. That's what you've been saying that for a while. Yeah.
When you tune in any program, anything, you gotta be smart enough to realize where it's coming from, right? And you gotta be smart enough to come up with your own opinions based on what you're hearing. Why is there so much pressure put on these news outlets or media companies to do the right thing? They're not going to.
Billions of dollars, and they're doing it maliciously. That's my opinion. I'm sorry.
She's right.
But Abby,
bingo.
You're just saying that everyone's a fucking idiot and we're all brainwashed?
They are.
Yeah.
I think that, there's not a whole lot of media literacy out there.
Yeah.
Really? I want to believe there is. I want to believe that people can watch something.
We have been under the umbrella of us believing the CBC is news. It's government run. CTV in the last 10 years is news.
We used to have CBC. I know that, and I'm already filtering that out.
But CTV's worse. CTV's worse, dude.
CNN's bad. Fox News, they're all bad. Everybody's got an angle. Everybody's got a fucking agenda.
Yeah, but in Canada, it's different, dude. No, it's different. Hang on. It's different in Canada. I'll tell you why it's different. Is because we have like 1/12 of the available mainstream outlets that the United States does. They have hundreds of different media outlets owned by hundreds of different companies. We got like 4. We got Rogers, we got Bell, and that's it. That's it. We got Quebecor, we've got Post Media, and we only see what they want us to see. And I know it's true because I worked with them. I still talk to these people. It's criminal what happens. It's absolutely fucking criminal what happens. I think Jimmy's gone. Did Jimmy leave?
No.
Oh, is he still there? No, not you, James. Jimmy.
No, we
Jimmy.
lost Jimmy. Long time
Jimmy's
ago.
gone.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. Anyway, yeah. Can I get to a quick numbers update?
Point in the evening where we bring Jimmy back. So.
That's what I wanted more than anything. Because if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Am I reading this wrong? That the Liberals are absolutely spanking the Conservatives right now?
Oh, 100%, Dean. I'm sorry. We're at almost 10%. We're at 9.1% of the polls are being reported now, and 125 seats have gone to the Liberals. 60 seats have gone to the Conservatives. 25 seats have gone to Bloc Québécois. NDP's got 17.
Sorry.
That's a good question. I'm actually just trying to extrapolate the provincial breakdown right now because polls ended at 9:30 in Ontario. So, but now what we're hearing as well, I'm seeing a ton of links coming up in the comments of people saying that there's lineups outside of polling stations that are still that they've officially closed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're actually going to allow them to vote or what's
Who the
going
fuck
on.
goes to the polling station at 9 o'clock at night?
They couldn't get in because of the distancing and COVID mandates.
Yeah, the lines were longer this year because of distancing, and that's like a thing. People are like, "Oh, people are really voting extra hard in this election." I feel like our percentages will be similar or worse.
But it's not like everyone.
But it's because
it's
of
not like
COVID.
it's not like there was
taking
a
extra
person that
precautions.
was saying that it was a bad idea to have a pandemic election.
I went to the liquor store before I went and voted today, and there was a longer lineup at the liquor store.
Was your boy there? Was your boy there?
Nick? No,
your boy Nick?
No. Yeah.
No, and the People's Party still has 0, Dean, at this point.
Shocker.
But no, to your point, if someone is in line when the polls close, they have to let them vote.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm thinking
They
we're not going
actually
to
have a pollster who goes to the back of the line at 7 or whenever your poll closes and stands as the last person in the line. I've actually been the last person before the guy gets in there, so that happened once.
Yeah,
great.
Did everybody here vote?
I was working a radio event. That's why I
voted.
6 million people voted.
6 million
Also,
people
I'm
voted.
tripping right the fuck out right now. But yeah, I voted.
All right, I can see you. Yeah, you are tripping out. I'm watching you kind of rock back and forth.
You guys are all like the same guy.
We're at the
We're the same guy.
We're at the super shroom part of the evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I have been fascinated. I've been trying to be engaged in the conversation because I'm highly entertained and also like wildly.
I can talk. I just can't see shit.
No, I'm telling you. You know what? Like other than Dean's last
I've been watching James nonstop.
The most
he is so twitchy right now.
And concise person on this panel has been James. And that's not to say Karima and Amy or Abby are not doing a great job. But for somebody that hasn't, I said Abby.
Amy, how you doing, Amy?
I don't have shrooms, but I'm just.
She's only been on with us for a fucking hour.
All right, guys. Enough of bugging. Go on, Henry.
Yeah. See, I think John has been the most clear and concise of this panel, and if it wasn't for Jean, we'd be lost. No, I agree with Locke. It's been mesmerizing.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch.
So twitchy.
Super fucked, but that's okay. James, just accept it. We're being nice. We got your back today. We got your back. Dude, a couple seconds ago.
Okay, go.
He's talking to himself.
By the way, Rookie that makes sense. We've got half the votes of Ontario, and the Liberals have already won. So, thanks for coming out on fucking Western Canada.
Is that
Honestly, usually
did it happen? Is it over?
Know who the winner is because the Maritime
guys,
the last couple times.
We don't know anything.
Guys, we might have we could be getting news. Hang on, let me just hit the breaking news sounder. Hang on.
Yeah.
That's so much funnier on that.
Would like, hold on. Can I point something out? And there are some new people to the podcast. But I would just like to point out that somebody gave me top billing on that fucking sounder, and I am going to be milking that for quite some time. Thank you, Ryan.
We did say the sound.
The close-up kills me.
Look at that. Like the slow motion smile.
I love James. James the DFORA.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get an update here, Lindley. What do we got? Is the crushing continuing?
Yeah, what I can see, and I don't know how this works. It looks like Liberals are up 5. Conservatives
we got you
lost
doing the
6.
numbers.
I literally took this job halfway through this show, Lachlan. Give me a break. So the
what kind of benefits did you get?
Okay,
I don't know how this works, but
I'm trying, guys. This is an election update, so I'm asking for numbers. Let him get the numbers out, and then you can ruin his life.
I think the highest number means winning.
Yeah, winning. So what do you got?
So plus 4 for the
so
Liberals.
Glad you all tuned in tonight.
Oh shoot! Okay, I'm muting for a sec. I gotta go get my food.
Okay, see you in a bit. Go ahead.
What?
Skip the dishes. She's got skip the dishes.
This is coming in live, and it's plus 4 at this point in Ontario for plus 4 for the Liberals, minus 6 for the Conservatives, minus 2 for Bloc Québécois, and plus 4 for the Democrats. So
that really confused us all. So thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. What it's telling you is NDP and Liberals are driving away with this right now in Ontario.
Dude, I think we're ready to call it.
No,
fuck off.
I'm ready to call anything.
Let's go to Brian Lilly with the update.
Yeah, he can't. There he is.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Never do that to me.
I'm
hot,
here to tell you I'm not allowed around any swimming pools.
I'll be seeing that for weeks.
I'll tell you what, I can give you the Toronto ones anyway, Dean, because those are the ones that only
Hang
matter,
on.
right?
Yeah. Can you just give me a second here to catch my fucking breath? I have to say something. I think we're ready to call it.
Stop it. Stop it.
Just flip a coin and call something for fun.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody that's watching, share this immediately because we're about to call the election.
Lindley, before I call this election for
your
you know who,
news source, the
can you
Dean
please
Lundell podcast?
Yeah. We're legit. We're fucking legit. No, I'm not.
You know what?
I don't drink.
Go
ahead.
I can't.
I committed a crime on this show. Go ahead.
Half of these polls aren't in yet, Dean. I'm sorry. I'm looking. They're all at 0 still.
Hey, Lindley, make it
Toronto
up.
Toronto Center.
Make it up.
Marcy, yeah, okay.
Marcy
in Toronto Center has 364,000 votes for the Liberals, and Brian Chang has 27 for the NDP. Brian Lester has -4 for the Conservative. They took 4 votes back away from him.
Wow.
Anne-Marie Paul just left. She pulled out. And Saeed Jaffrey for the People's Party has conceded and crossed the floor to the Liberal Party.
Okay. It's over, dude. Listen, Trudeau won. He might get a majority.
Yeah, no, this is majority territory. Definitely, these numbers that we're looking at right now are definitely majority territory.
Wow.
I think, guys, I think we might be close. I think we might be ready to. I think we're getting. I think it's safe to say this is a Liberal minority for sure. Quite possibly a majority. Justin Trudeau will be the Prime Minister yet again.
You know what?
With the same bullshit.
I can't.
We're the first to call it.
Sorry. Breaking news.
I can't believe that Archie Bunker didn't win.
Breaking news.
Yeah, Ryan.
Rebel News has declared Maxime Bernier the Supreme Leader.
Oh wow, that's incredible. Ladies, listen, I think we're first. We were the first to call it because it is now being called by CBC and CTV that it is a Liberal win. Justin Trudeau will win this snap election. Now the question is by how much?
And do we trust the CBC? Those dicks?
Nope.
We didn't give him enough money.
We didn't give him enough money. Yeah,
guys,
someone's getting a job to redo the carpets at fucking the head office in Toronto.
Here's $45 million to do the carpets.
Yeah,
gentlemen, I want to thank all three of you for joining us this evening. It is a Liberal minority win, correct? Is that just came out?
Absolutely.
Okay,
it just came in. Yeah.
We are
literally minority.
We're 6 minutes away from James DeFiore running naked.
I'm like trying to focus and like it's like a kaleidoscope.
Wait, James, the drama teacher is still your prime minister.
I never thought a drama teacher was a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay.
James,
the lying horseshit motherfucker is still your prime minister.
Yeah.
Did you just call me?
Well,
no.
That's what I would call all politicians. It's not specific.
Can you imagine? That would be the greatest.
That wasn't specific to anyone in general.
You just feel that way. Well, guys, listen. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. It turned out to be not even close. Abby Simpson, you can follow her at Abby the Tweet on Twitter. Abby
put
the
it
Tweet
down there because I wasn't thinking. I'm not smart. It's cool.
No problem. We got it. Abby the Tweet on Twitter at Karima Rules. Karima Saad. Thank you, Karima. It was so nice to see you today. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome.
You're like the Oracle. I just realized, right? From the Matrix, you're like the Oracle.
I think you need to mute him.
No.
Was the Oracle a good guy? I don't know if I've seen that.
Was like the smartest girl in the whole thing. She kept the whole thing together. The Matrix.
Yeah, what a horrible thing to say. Eh?
Oh, Lachlan's gonna play
just
us out.
Mute that guy. Fuck.
Thanks to ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to James DeFiore. Really appreciate him being here today. Thank you, Ryan. Really appreciate you being here today. Thank you very much. Ryan Lindley. You can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Lindley, the Sheeple Shepherd Podcast. Oh, that's it for us. Justin Trudeau is your prime minister yet again. He's still your prime minister. He'll be your prime minister till you're dead, probably. Most of us didn't even really care. Didn't even want the election. He's got a minority government again. O'Toole's going to lose his job. Cheers. Jagmeet, a little more power. Cheers. Several thousand people got to watch this. What some are calling the most comprehensive election coverage show of all time. I'm not calling it that. JY8675309 is calling it that. Thanks to Lachlan Cross for the face piano intro and extra. Really appreciate everybody being here. Hope we made sense to you. You guys made sense to us. Guaranteed, almost everybody on this podcast is going to be hungover tomorrow. Because of this, because of you. So thank you. Don't forget. Be nice. Have a great day. Bye.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.